We give praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yah by way of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. John 5:39 says this: Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you would not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? 2 Chronicles chapter 29 and verse 1. Second Chronicles chapter 29 and verse 1.
Hezekiah began to reign when he was 25 years old, and reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Abiah, the daughter of Zechariah. And he did that which was right in the sight of Yahuwah, according to all that his father had done. He, in the first year of his reign, in the first month, opened the doors of the house of Elohim and repaired it.
No, we talked about this not too long ago. Go ahead.
And he brought in the priests and the Levites, and gathered them together into the east street, and said unto them, hear me, ye Levites, sanctify now yourselves, and sanctify the house of Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers, and carry forth the filthiness out of the Kadesh place.
No, we talked about that too long ago. The first thing that we have to realize and always remember is that inward part is that stuff has to be removed. Go and give me Romans chapter 7 verse 13, school. Just a rehash, man. Romans 7:13. He said you need to carry forth and you need to sanctify now yourselves. No, the master told you that he sanctified himself that you might be sanctified by the truth. So you have to set yourself apart. Many people don't set themselves apart, and that's why they can't get that filthiness up out of them. Matter of fact, before you even read that, get me what that is, Leviticus chapter 20, man. Tell me what 24 say. I'm gonna look myself. Yeah, that it is. Give me verse 22 though. Leviticus 20 and 22.
It said, ye shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments, and do them, that the land whither I bring you to dwell therein spew you not out. And ye shall not walk in the manner of the nation.
You shall not what?
Walk in the manner of the nation.
Go ahead.
Which I cast out before you. For they have committed all these things, and therefore I have abhorred them. But I have said unto you, ye shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that floweth with milk and honey. I am Yahuwah your Elohim, which have separated you from other people.
He did what?
Separated you from other people.
Go ahead.
Ye shall therefore put difference between clean beasts and unclean, and between unclean fowls and clean.
That's good right there. The key thing is he separated. We read that yesterday when he was talking about his apostles. Well, last night. What did he say? He said, I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. I've separated you from them. You're not the same as them. I've cut you off from them. Don't be like them. The problem where we come in at is if you want to cleanse that inward part out, that's what you have to do. Hold on, since we're looking at that, give me 2 Corinthians, man, chapter 6, verse 16. 2 Corinthians 6 and 16.
It said, what agreement hath the temple of Elohim with idols? For ye are the temple of the living Elohim.
That's basically what he was telling us in Leviticus, is what agreement do we have that if we that temple? And we talking about that cleansing out of the temple, which we know the temple is representative of our bodies. Go ahead.
As Elohim have said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. Wherefore come out from among them.
Do what?
Come out from among them.
What else?
And be ye separate, says Yahuwah. And touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. And I will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, says Yahuwah Al Shaddai.
That's good. Come on back to 2 Chronicles chapter 29. So the key point is to be able to see, this is what people want to do, is they think that you can remove the filthiness out of your heart without setting yourself apart first. You have to set yourself apart. Matter of fact, since I said that, Give me Acts chapter 26 and verse 11. Make it verse 10. Acts 26 and 10.
It says, which thing I also did in Jerusalem, and many of the Kadeshim did I shut up in prison, having received authority from the chief priests. And when they were put to death, I gave my voice against them. And I punished them often in every synagogue, and compelled them to blaspheme. And being exceedingly mad against them, I persecuted them even unto strange cities. Whereupon, as I went to Damascus with authority and commission from the chief priest, at midday, O king, I saw in the way a light from Shamahim above the brightness of the sun, shining round about me, and them which journeyed with me. And when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me and saying in the Hebrew tongue, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. And I said, who art thou, master? And he said, I am Yahushua, whom thou persecutest. But rise and stand upon thy feet, for I appear unto thee for this purpose, to make thee a minister and a witness, both of these things which thou hast seen, and of those things in which I will appear unto thee, delivering thee from the people and from the Gentiles, unto whom now I send thee, to open their eyes and to turn them from darkness to light, and from the power of the adversary unto Elohim, that they may receive forgiveness of sins and inheritance among them which are sanctified by faith that is in me.
That's the first thing, that in order to be able to carry forth that filthiness out of that set apart place, you have to be sanctified by the faith that's in him. Because people don't necessarily have that faith, that's why they can't get those filthy things up out of there. You have to set yourself apart first. If you look at what he did when he came up out of Egypt, he set them apart, and then he showed them how to get rid of the sin. Before you can get rid of the sin, you have to set yourself apart. We thinking just because you find out you a brew or you start eating pork that you really sanctified yourself. You haven't sanctified yourself in your heart. You have to set yourself apart, and that's what people don't want to do. Come on back to 2 Chronicles 29. Do I know you? That bright behind purse, beach bag. Hey Elizabeth, can I have some? Then go sit down, please. 2 Chronicles 29 and verse 6.
For our fathers have trespassed and done that which was evil in the sight of Yahuwah our Elohim, and have forsaken him, and Elohim, and have turned away their faces from the habitation of Yahuwah, and turned their backs.
They did what?
Turned their backs. Also they have shut up the doors of the porch.
What else they did?
And put out the lamps.
They did what?
Put out the lamps.
They did what?
And have not burned incense nor offered burnt offerings.
Pause. What do y'all think that? Why is that important when he said they put out the lamps? Why would that be important? He said they put out the lamps. No, I mean, do you know what the lamps are important? Do y'all know where the lamps come from and what lamps he's referring to?
To do the service of the
Go to Exodus chapter 23 and about verse 35 or 37. Exodus 25 and 37. Exodus 25 and 37.
It says, and thou shalt make 7 lamps thereof, and they shall light the lamps thereof, that they may give light over against it.
Matter of fact, back it up some. Go all the way back about verse 31.
It says, and thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold, and of beaten work shall the candlestick be made, this shaft and his branches, his bowls, his knobs, and his flowers.
Why would you see that's important if it say that candlestick and all of the things that are a part of it have to be made of beaten work? What do y'all think that could be referring to if you say that candlestick has to be made of beaten work?
Tried gold.
No, it said that the gold would be made out of pure gold, but the candlestick itself and its vessels. I'll go over one more time. Thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold, of beaten work shall the candlestick be made. His shaft and his branches, his bowls, his knops, and his flowers shall be of the same. Everything that's a part of that candlestick has to be a beaten work. What do you think this means when he says a beaten work? As you can see, this says a beaten work. I'll wait for this. So when you're looking at a beaten work, what do you think he's referring to? Well, the Hebrew word for beaten work in this particular verse is mikshah, and it means a hammered work or something that is beaten out of one piece. Beaten out of one piece, upright, a whole piece. So if we're going to look at something that's beaten out of one piece, we need to turn around and look at something. What would we want to use? Let's go ahead and use, what that is, Acts chapter 4, what I was telling you about the other day, about 4 and 27. Acts 4 and 27.
For of a truth against thy Kadesh child Yahushua, whom thou hast anointed, both Herod and Pontius Pilate with the Gentiles and the people of Yasharah were gathered together, for to do whatsoever thy hand and thy counsel determined before it to be done.
Not bad. Give him 5 and 39.
5 and
39. Acts 5 and 39 is what we want specifically.
But if it be of Elohim, ye cannot overthrow it, lest haply ye be found even to fight against Elohim. And to him they agreed, and when they had called the apostles and beaten them, they commanded
and did what?
And beaten them.
What up?
They commanded that they should not speak in the name of Yahushua and let them go. And they departed from the presence of the council, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer the shame for his name.
They were counted worthy to hello. They were counted worthy to suffer what?
The shame for his name.
So they are out of a beaten work. Wasn't a Mashiach beaten? And what did they come from? Well, let's turn around and sit back and see. Let's look at John chapter 17 and verse 20.
It says, neither pray I for these alone, but for them also which believe on me through their word, that they all may be as one, as thou, Father, art in me, and I in thee, that they also may be one in us, that the world may believe that thou hast sent me. And the esteem which thou gavest me I have given them, that they may be one even as we are one. I in them, and thou in me, that they may be made perfect in one, that the world may know that thou hast
everything
sent me.
that's a part of that candle. What does the candlestick do in the temple? What would be the purpose of the candlestick? What would be the purpose of the lamps? To light the house. So just keep that in mind as we finna go to something else. So if it's meant to light the house, and everything in it has to be, everything a part of it has to be a beaten work or beaten out of that one piece. The candlestick, the main part of the candlestick, and then everything a part of that candlestick has to come from that one piece. What would we be able to gravitate and understand from that? Considering what the master just said right here in John 17, everything got to come out of one piece. Considering what we talked about last night with his fruit and his meat being contemptible, and not seeds of many but seeds of one, which goes back to what we were talking about Wednesday when it said the second child will stand first, because it says stand in his steed in Ecclesiastes, but the word for steed is the olive, which is the first. So for one thing, let's look at that in Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 1. Ephesians 4 and 1. Ephesians 4 and 1.
It says, I therefore, the prisoner of Yahuwah, beseech you that ye may walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called.
Yeah.
With all loveliness and meekness and long suffering, forbearing one another in love.
Yeah.
Endeavoring to keep the unity of the Ruach in the bond of Shalom.
Endeavoring to do what?
To keep the unity of the Ruach in the bond of Shalom.
Go ahead.
There is one body.
There's one what?
One body. And one Ruach. Even as ye are called in one hope of your calling. One master, one faith, and one baptism. One Elohim and Father of all, who is above all and through all, and you all.
So when you look at that one beaten work, that one hammered work, they all coming out of one person, which is Yahusha, in order to be able to give light. Let's look at Matthew 5:14, what he said about a candlestick. And it's going to go back to the exhibition of what we talked about last night about the fruits of which the priest found contemptible. Because that love, that joy, that peace, that patience, that gentleness, that goodness, that meekness, those are the things that are representative of that light that will light the house, which will actually light you, since the Ruach is being referred to as fruit in that instance. And you're going to see how the Ruach is referred to as light in just a moment. And these are the lights that you're supposed to shine before men, that your Father can be esteemed in their presence. And then we'll look at it, and if somebody is wicked, that they may speak falsely of you, that Elohim might be esteemed on your behalf. Go ahead. 5:14. Make it 13. Matthew.
Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted?
Yep.
It is henceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under the foot of men.
Go ahead.
Ye are the light of the world.
You are the what?
The light of the world.
What else?
A city that is set on the hill cannot be hid.
Mm-hmm.
Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel.
They don't light a candle and do what?
Put it under a bushel.
If you put a candle on the bushel, what it's going to pretty much do to that candle?
Put it out.
It's going to put it out, right? We ain't here to put that candle out. You feel me? Come on. I'll read that again just for you to hear that again.
It says, ye are the light of the world, and the city that is set on the hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick.
Now notice, right, didn't we just read it said the priest put out the lamps, and having offered the incense and all of these things, they put out the lamps. If they put out the lamps, and in actuality, what did they do? In actuality, what did they do? If we're looking at it in a spiritual context, if they put out the lamp, what did they actually put out? They put out the spirit. They put out the word. They put out the Ruach. That's what they really put out. Which you're going to see, this is going to go to a point of what Paul stated in another place that'll make sense for you. Go ahead, sir.
It says, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and esteem your Father which is in
So he said that light will give light to the whole house, right? Ain't that's what that candlestick in the temple was supposed to do, was to give light to the whole house? And the temple is representative of who? Of Yahusha. So that light that's in him would light up his whole household, would it not? Which would be those who were of that beaten work that came out of that one piece. So we know that we coming up out of that one piece, those things that we read about. What's some of the, who can remember one of the instances we looked at last night that people hated the fruit thereof, which is the fruit of the Ruach, when you seen that this man did something and they despised it? You know what I'm saying? You seen that when he showed goodness or mercy to somebody, they hated him for it. When he showed gentleness to somebody, they hated him for it. When he exercised patience, like what he seen with Zacchaeus, was actually long suffering as well, because he showed patience with this man, and they mocked him for it. You know, one of the most difficult things to be able to do is have patience with somebody who is rebelliously contrary. That's a very difficult thing to do. Most people don't even have the wherewithal to even do something like that. Most of the time, if somebody cross you and do something to you that you don't like, you ready to just cut them off and be done with them. You know what I'm saying? Versus exercising that patience and continue on. Because maybe over time, maybe they'll repent. But if not, they get to see the attributes of Elohim of which they can't speak against. Because truth be told, I can tell you this for every single person that's sitting in this room on this phone and on the other end of the camera. Niggas be looking for something to say. And every single solitary thing that you do, because you claim you serve the living Elohim, so they looking for something to say. And everything that you do. And the word part is, we give niggas something to say a majority of the time. Because most people don't really care nothing about it. They just want to have something to talk about. I knew that nigga was evil. See, I told you this. What does it say the adversary do? He sit around and accuse you to the Most High day in and day out. They say that's what he does. That's what the book say he do. And most people on this planet, they're looking for a reason to accuse you. So you're supposed to pay attention. That's why I told you that last night. And I'll tell you this again. It is not about you. If you think it's about you, you will find yourself in a place you don't want to be. Because you're not going to be able to serve this man with the full heart, mind, and soul, because you think it's about you, because you operated in a selfish vantage point, because you think somebody cares about what you want and what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Nobody cares about what you want. You are broken people. The man say you continually wicked. You always coming to pray before me with blood on your hands. You don't know how to do judgment. You don't know how to do justice. You don't know how to do anything. And then I come to you to try to heal you. And what did we see that he said right there? They turned their back from me and they forsook me. Then you see when somebody actually came and showed the attributes of God that these people say they wanted it, they mocked him, they ridiculed him, and they hated him for it. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but you still supposed to let that light be manifest, or that Ruach be manifest, and not allow that to dictate. Do you know that nobody would be on this earth if this man took everybody out every single solitary time we made him angry? Because we make this man angry. Some of y'all get angry with your kids all the time because they don't listen, but then a nigga don't listen to y'all. And then you wonder, so you should know how he feel. Sometimes he have your children act in a particular way so you can understand how he feel. Then maybe you can look at it and say, wow, I might want to amend my behavior because I don't like this. So imagine how he feel, because he doesn't look at you as a grown person. He look at you as his child, whether you were 6 or whether you were 66 or 96 or 106. He doesn't look at you as that's somebody's grandma, that's somebody's mama. That's my child. I birthed them. I made them. What we were talking about last night when we looked at the attributes of what Yahusha sounded like. He sounded like somebody's father. He don't look at you as no grown person. You'll never be no grown adult, no matter how many kids you got, no matter how long you've been living on your own, no matter how long you've been paying your bills. He don't see you that way because I'm the one who gave you the house to live in, which is this earth, and your natural body. I'm the one who gave you the food to eat, which is my body, along with your natural food to eat. I gave you your children. I gave you everything you have. You owe your whole entire life to me. I don't care what you feel or what you think. Tighten up. We ain't even talking about stuff that people deal with that is personal. You know what I'm saying? You know, some people still carry stuff with them that they've been holding for 10, 15, 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Some of that stuff, you know, somebody need to help them out. And some stuff, nigga, you just need to tighten up because now you're just being bitter for no reason. You're grown now. You know what I'm saying? It's over with. Reconcile the situation and move past it. You know what I'm saying? Some stuff people really just have to have a conversation because it's really bothering them. They probably never really talked about it. I can say for me, I never walk around mad with my daddy. I know niggas who grown that still got issues with their daddy and they 30 and 40 years old and got kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, my nigga, you need to let that go. You need to hit that man on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Sit down, get that stuff off your chest and move on. You know what I'm saying? Walk around sad by the nigga who wasn't there and you 40 years old ain't a good look. You know what I'm saying? Just being honest though, they ain't no good look because you supposed to already got over that. You know what I'm saying? If your mama was on rocks and this, that, and the third, you know, somebody shared that song too. Y'all ever heard that? What's the name? Son of Timothy too. Your mama's on crack rock. Y'all ever heard that song before? It's an old song. It's an old Miami bass song. You know what song I'm talking about? I'll play it for you later. It's not a negative song, but the hook it's got little kids singing on it too. Your mama's on crack rock, and then the little girl say, "No, she's not." But the song is about somebody mama who was smoking dope and the negative consequences of what happens when you smoke crack. That's what the song is actually about. I can't remember his name, but I just know it from when I was young because we heard it all the time. The bass in the song hit hard. You know what I'm talking about? But the song is about. But at the same token, you'll hear that hook and be like, "Oh, that's horrible." But during that time in the 80s, that's what little kids was doing. If somebody mama was smoking crack, they would sit up there and say, "Your mama on crack rock. Your mama on crack rock." You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But children are mean. But guess what though? We say that's so mean, and adults are 10 times meaner than a child ever could be. Where do you think they learned it from? You know what I'm saying? Because we tell kids, don't pick on people, and then you get grown and you pick on people. You know what I'm saying? You tell kids don't talk about people, get grown, and people sit around and talk about people. You know what I'm saying? So that's where they get it from. And then you don't want to tell them kids that it don't stop when you get grown. You know what I'm saying? Because truth be told, shoot, adults are way mean. Children just saying that because, shoot, your mother's on crack rock. And that's it. That's just an honest assessment. Your mom smokes crack, and I saw her tricking on the corner for a rock. I seen her. Niggas will make stuff up when they grown and say somebody smoking crack, and they ain't never smoked crack a day in their life. You know what I'm saying? Say somebody prostituting, they ain't never seen that woman on the track a day in their life. You know what I'm saying? And then whoop the kids for doing it, and you do it every day. Cause grown people lie on people. Children tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? I remember this little girl, my homeboy daughter. One time he seen my homeboy. She looked him in the face. She said, "Why you so ugly?" Everybody just died laughing. Like, what can you say to that? This is a 7-year-old child. She said it because she meant it. She didn't say it because she was trying to get a laugh from the crowd. She really thought he was ugly. You know what I'm saying? She asked him why he looked like that. He just said he was born that way, and that was it. You know? But that's the difference between a child, because if a child say something, they say it because that's their pure honesty at the time. There's no taint in that. They're not trying to get a reaction from the crowd. Grown people trying to get a reaction from the crowd, or whoever their audience is, who they talking to when they get grown. Because guess what? You tell people that don't pick on kids in school, right? You get on jobs and people do the same thing. Do the same exact thing. Nobody won't tell that kid to prepare him for it. And then, because we used to notice this when we were young, like we used to rank for sport. So if you seen you ranking on your homeboy, you know he gonna rank back. But then we noticed that there was a couple dudes you could tell that there was something underlying, and nigga left him alone. Then when you sat and talked with him, you seen like, nah, bro, I'm dealing with this and dealing with that. You can't, if you any type of person, you're not finna rank on this man after that. You know what I'm saying? Because he would tell the nigga what he was dealing with. Cause you know the first thing, which I heard y'all talking about, you gonna rank on a nigga clothes. But get what though? A skilled person in the art of joke cracking is a very witty individual, and he will go past you. You could be the flyest nigga in the world, but you could be ugly though. You could have an ugly personality. You could be stupid, and we'll rank on you for that. Whatever I can get you on. But then at the same token, my homeboy Shippy, man, we used to be ranking around the way, but we used to leave him alone because he had a facial disorder. I don't know what it was, but his skin made him look like he was like 80 years old. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he really did. You know what I'm saying? If you ever remember the Natural Ice commercial, the bitter beer face, man, that's how his face looked. You know what I'm saying? But coming from where I come from, you ranked on your homeboys and you expecting him to rank back. So when a nigga clowning with him, he ain't saying nothing back. So I used to leave him alone. Them niggas around the way used to kill him. And then he wrote us a letter when he was in prison how he used to want to kill himself. You know what I'm saying? Because them niggas, he had a bag on his chest. Instead of having a regular colostomy bag, he had it on his chest, and they used to rank on him about that. They used to call him chest. You sit in there and you use your imagination. You know what I'm saying? I used to get upset with him because we riding and I can smell your feces in his bag and you not saying nothing because we need to take you to the house so you can dump it and clean it out because you could get infected, and all you worried about is smoking a joint. I don't care about no joint, but you ain't finna be riding around with dookie in your bag. You know what I'm saying? And just like it's nothing, but he didn't care. He didn't care. He didn't care about living because everybody rode him everywhere we went. Like we used to take him in pub. First time he came to FSCJ, I had my homegirl with me. I said, yeah, man, my homeboy finna come through here. I said, don't laugh at him in his face when he come around the corner, because I know her. You know what I'm saying? She's not gonna laugh or react in a way to be funny, but like she gonna be shocked because he looked different. But she did, like she seen him and whispered in my ear, like, you think he can go on Maury Povich? At the time when he was bringing people on there with facial defects and stuff like that, and she was dead serious though. And girls at the college would just sit back and look and point at him and laugh. You know what I'm saying? And then we would have to, you know what I'm saying, straighten him out of that. I didn't write this up. I'm just saying, I know her. You know what I'm saying? Huh? He went to prison. This is how he went to prison. Because me and Chris considered doing it, but then I'm like, nah, we ain't gonna do that because we were doing bad. You know what I'm saying? The connect was kind of messed up. We wasn't eating like we were supposed to be eating. So he was like, Chris, let me get the burner. We like, what you want the burner for? But we finna rob this nigga with the weed. And I thought about it. I say, shoot, boy, we can slide and hit that cracker. I say, nah, man. I say, boy, don't get that nigga that gun, boy. He say, man, that's my dog. I said, boy, don't get that nigga that gun, boy. Son, tell me, don't get that nigga that gun. He gave that nigga that gun. That nigga went and robbed the nigga. The nigga didn't even have a pound of weed. I think that nigga had like a half ounce of weed, an Xbox, and some games and some DVDs. And that nigga got 5 years in prison for that. You know what I'm saying? Because at first
they called him?
Oh yeah, they called him. It was a botched robbery. It was pure stupidity. When the nigga came back, and the nigga was like, we like, where the pistol at? Oh, I had to throw it. And we like, nigga, you ain't throw that gun, nigga. Nigga, you sold that gun for some weed, nigga. Stop lying. Because that's what we thought he did. Till he was like, bro, how much time you can get for a home invasion? And I looked him in his eyes, I tapped Brian. I said, boy, that nigga did that, boy. You know what I'm saying? Because I seen the fear in his eyes. Like, I said, boy, that nigga did that, boy.
With the bag?
With the bag. Called 5 and he died in prison. You know what I'm saying? He died in prison. Because when I'm telling you, he wrote us a letter. He was like, bro, I used to want to kill myself. This, that, that, and the third. I'm like, dang, I used to tell the nigga, bro, you can rank back, bro. But he wasn't ranking back because everybody wrote him. Because people be having underlying issues. Most of the time, they don't want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, people feel like if you force somebody to, if you see somebody dealing with something, they feel like you can force them to talk about it by steady asking and steady asking and steady asking. And you can't do people like that. You have to let them feel comfortable enough that they want to have that conversation with you. You can encourage them to go talk to somebody about it, or let them know that you're going to be there for them, or this, that, and the third, but you can't force somebody to talk about something if they ain't ready to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I had people done told me how they done been molested, raped. I know several women who done been raped. I know several women who done been molested. That's not an easy conversation to have. You know what I'm saying? That's not an easy conversation to have. That's devastating. You're a child. You know what I'm saying? That stuff will affect you for the rest of your life. Yeah, I know people who are affected by their parents not being there, mother or father. It affects some people differently. Everybody's different. You have to remember, everybody ain't that strong. That's going to tie into something that we're going to read with Paul. Why I mean mentioning all this. Everybody ain't that strong. You know what I'm saying? Some people get buckled by life and they don't care. I've seen niggas quit on life. Like, straight up, like, I don't care. That's the worst thing in the world to see. A nigga who don't care. He doesn't care. He don't care if he live. He don't care if he die. He don't care if he eat. He don't care if he sleep outside. He don't care if he sleep inside. He doesn't care. And that's how people get. That's how some people end up getting towards Yah when certain things don't go the way that they thought they should go or how they wanted it to go. They just quit. I don't care. Go ahead, sir. Where I got you at? Huh?
Matthew 5.
We good at Matthew 5. Swing me back to Proverbs chapter 20, man. And verse 27. And 27.
The Ruach of man is in the candle of Yahuwah, searching all the inward parts of the belly.
Read that again.
The Ruach of man is in the candle of Yahuwah, searching all the inward parts of the belly.
Just give it to him one more time. One more time.
It says the Ruach of man is the candle of Yahuwah, searching all the inward parts of the belly.
Now the word candle is the same word that's for lamp. And that's that word that is right here. And that word is Nair. But he said, what does it do? It searches what?
It searches the inward parts of the belly.
Now hold on one second, and I'm gonna show you something real quick. Now that search ain't gonna be the same as what we seen when we dealt with seeking Yah. It's gonna be a little different. But that word for search in this particular verse is kafas, and that means search out to disguise oneself or to test. To test. Then when he tell you about the inward parts of the belly, and we got Romans 7 on deck, don't we? That word for inward parts is kadur, and that's the chamber, the parlor, or the innermost part, or inward part, or within. Do you recall how we just read in 2 Chronicles 29 how he talked about cleaning out the inner part of the temple and removing the filthiness? Because that candle is searching the inward parts of the belly, or to seek out what you got going on inside of you that is contrary. See, that be the part, like this here, right? Some people will tell you like, okay, I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with that. But that real deep-seated, rooted wickedness, don't nobody really want to deal with that. Before we read Romans chapter 7, give me Psalm chapter 4 and verse 4. Don't y'all remember how he tell you in Corinthians, he tell you to examine yourself whether you be in the faith or not. Which means if you examine yourself in that inward parts of your belly or in your inner man, you'll discover whether or not you actually believe and if you're actually conducting yourself in the proper fashion. See, I can tell you from 8 years of dealing with this word, I have noticed several things. The only thing that anybody want to hear is something that makes them feel good about being evil. You know what I'm saying? Want to hear all, because in Romans chapter 11, I want to say about verse 26, he tells you that you need to know the goodness and the severity of Elohim. Everybody want to hear about the mercy and the love and the compassion that he has. Don't nobody want to hear about the severity part, because the severity part don't make you feel good if you contrary to it. See, if you're not contrary to it, you just recognize it as, see, I ain't going to try my daddy because I know he don't play. That's how some of y'all were when you were living in your parents' house. See, I ain't going to try my daddy because I know he don't play. You ain't get stuck on how severe he was. You just know he bust you upside your head. You know what I'm saying? But somebody who always, if you got a sibling and they always getting a whooping, then they don't want to hear about how severe daddy is because he always busting upside the head. You know what I'm talking about? Man, daddy ain't about nothing, man. But niggas, stop sneaking out. Get better grades. Clean your room. You won't have that problem. You know what I'm saying? Or they just want to hear about how they're an Israelite. It's one of those two things, that's all they want to hear. The part that's going to actually make you complete and whole and deal with the matters that you... See, before anybody else can really help you with a matter that you got going on, you have to acknowledge that it exists. You know what I'm saying? If you don't acknowledge that you like to lie, or that you're irresponsible, or that you're stupid, or you know what I'm saying, or that you, whatever you got going on, if you're depressed, if you're sad, if you know what I'm saying, who gonna be able to help you? Nobody. You cannot heal of what you don't reveal first. If you don't reveal it, nobody can help you with it. You know what I'm saying? You're just gonna be walking around carrying it, and then being resentful to everybody, talking about don't nobody care about me, nobody don't help me. Well, nigga, you ain't tell nobody. You know what I'm saying? So how anybody gonna, you expect somebody, he's sad. How do you know? I can read his mind. No, nigga, open your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Some things you can tell, like something wrong with bro. I'm gonna go holler at him. But if he don't tell you what's going on, what you gonna force him? In my personal opinion, this ain't everybody, I think some people like to walk around like that because it gets them the attention that they so desperately crave. You know what I'm saying? And they need that, and you know what I'm saying, be a perpetual victim and perpetually sad and broken and all that type of stuff. They don't want to fix it. You know what I'm saying? Some people do want to fix it, and they just don't trust people enough to tell them what they got going on. You know what I'm saying? And you just got to be patient with them. That you actually have to show them that you actually care about them, and then eventually they'll let out whatever they got going on. Go ahead, sir.
Psalms
4 and 4.
It says, stand in awe and sin not. Commune with your own heart upon your bed and be still.
Do what?
Commune upon your own heart.
So the first thing you have to do is you got to commune with your own heart. Just like we read the other day in Kings. Everybody knows the plague of their heart. Everybody knows what it is that they're dealing with and what they got going on. The first person you need to take it to is Yahuwah. The next person you need to take it to is the strongest person you know who can assist you in whatever it is that you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And you can take that to whoever you feel comfortable enough to take it to. I wouldn't recommend taking no spiritual matter to a sinner, because how can a carnal person help a spiritual person? That's backwards. If it's a natural matter that you want to talk to somebody about, that's not in the word, that's your prerogative. But if you're talking about something spiritual, then you need to go talk to somebody who's spiritual, because a non-spiritual person cannot assist you. They're just going to give you a carnal solution to a spiritual matter, and that's just going to leave you stuck right in the place that you were in from the beginning. Every time somebody get immersed, what do we read? We read that Ezekiel where he tell you that, or that Job, where there's no air gets in between the scales. You know what I'm saying? See, the reason why discord and division come in at is because certain people don't be Elohim. We see that throughout the text. They tried to separate Mashiach from the people who believed on him. They wanted to separate him from his disciples. When the disciples continued to go out and preach the word, people were coming in trying to separate them from the people. Because these men were enemies of righteousness, they didn't have a desire for the people to be like this here. This is why Paul stated in Acts chapter 20 that grievous wolves would sneak in seeking to scatter the flock, of which he made certain men overseers or pastors, because these people had no other intention other than to break up and separate and then rule over the people once they had them scattered them for whatever means they had going on. This has been consistent during the time of Yasharal. That's what Korah did. You know what I'm saying? He wanted Moses' place, talking about Yah's with us, we got the word too. And he was trying to cause a discord and a separation amongst the people when Moses, Aaron, and Miriam were trying to keep the people like this. And Korah were trying to make the people be like this, and he was able to accomplish that because he drew people away after him to follow him. Go ahead, sir. Call it out for him. Oh, you did with Psalms 4 and 4. My apologies. Romans 7 and 13. Give me verse 9. Ain't gonna screw it. Make it 7 and 7. Romans 7 and 7.
It said, what shall we say then? Is the law sin?
Is the law what?
Sin?
What did he say?
Yah forbid.
Elohim forbid.
Nay, I had not known sin but by the law.
See, that's the whole key thing. Didn't any of us really know? You knew you were a sinner before you really started dealing with the word, but you didn't really know that you were a sinner. You know what I'm saying? You knew like, oh, this is wrong, but you didn't really know what dire danger your soul was into until you actually heard the word. Then you realize this is wrong, and I'm going to die. See, you knew before, you ain't supposed to have sex before you get married, but who really does? Who really talks about it? It's not a big deal, you know what I'm saying? You know, you figure it out a little later. You know, you smoke a little weed, it's not a big deal. You don't tell a lie, you know, you just say, hey, it's not a big deal. And then you actually read this man's judgments of how he feel about this, and then you understand this is sin. Not, oh, it's a sin. This is sin. I will die for it. And I'm telling you, this is the part of the game that people don't like to talk about. I remember what your man told me when he first seen us, he thought we were Christians. You know what I'm saying? I said, I bet you did. The reason why niggas will look at us and think that we Christians because we ain't on the type of time that you on. You know what I'm saying? I ain't telling you Israel every minute. We talking about Mashiach and his mercy and stop sinning. Niggas don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able, just like you showed me that photograph, I want to put my garments on and pose in a picture with my fist up, holding a shofar in my hand. Look at me. That's all niggas want to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm dead serious. That's all niggas want to do. Look at my zits. They go all the way to my ankles. You see my locks? Look at my locks, boy. See, I'm doing it for the culture, nigga. For the culture. Nigga, you see this here? I got a beard, nigga. I'm a priest. You know what I'm saying? That's what dudes look at. But see, what we talking about is what he said. The Ruach is the candle of a man, and Yahuwah searched the inward parts of the belly. So that candle is the light that's inside the man. We just sat back and already read, you don't put that candle under a bushel. You don't put it out. So you got people, they putting these candles out. We got to look at what are they doing to put this candle out. Continue on, sir.
7 and 8.
7 and 8.
He said, but sin taking occasion by the commandment wrought in me all manner of concubines. For without the law, sin was dead. Mm-hmm. For I was alive without the law once, but when the commandment came, sin revived.
See, before you knew the word, sin was dead, and you ain't had no idea that you was scarred. You didn't know. You know what I'm saying? It was no different what he said, that those that will perish without the law, who don't have it. When you don't, guess what? I don't care who it is. If they ain't hear the word, they still going to hell. Because guess what? All them Canaanites died without the law. None of them heard it. Did they hear it? He came in there and slaughtered every last one of them because they was all in there messing with boys and sacrificing their children to Molech and eating all type of animals. He ain't sit down and said, let me teach you about the law. I ain't teaching you nothing, nigga. You out of here. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't no different than anybody else who's out here. See, we assume that y'all supposed to grab everybody and sit them down and give them detailed instruction. See, I done told you this before. The type of gospel that we preach will never generate a large amount of people. They'll be interested in it. They'll listen for a little while, and then they gonna dip. It's gonna be no different than what we seen Micaiah do in Judges. Heap to him base priests. That's gonna tell him what he want to hear. That's what I want. The same thing Ahab did. Heap to me prophets who gonna tell me what I want to hear, because that's what I want. I don't want to hear Micaiah. He speak evil of me every time he talk. I don't want to hear him. That's why he said, the people said, what did he say? Write it before him in a what? In a table, and put it in a book. Because this is a rebellious people who say, don't prophecy to us good things, prophecy to us smooth things, tell us lies. See, but a nigga think because you telling them about that they Yasharal, or you drop a little knowledge on them, that you ain't telling them a lie. But when you strengthen this man in his wickedness and tell him he gonna live and he ain't gonna die for it, you just lied to him. You told that nigga lie, because that's what that nigga wanted to hear. You know what I'm saying? That goes along with what you were talking about, nigga. Call you think I'm going to hell, nigga? You already knew you were going to hell before you called me and asked me that. Do you know what I'm saying? If you got to ask a nigga if you going to hell, you already know you going. Do you know what I'm talking about? That's like a nigga calling you, asking you, do you think I'm going to go to jail if I kill this nigga? Nah, bro, you ain't going to go to jail. They ain't going to lock you up, bro. You don't get 25 years for it. I promise you not. Nigga, you know you going to jail for it. That's why you asking. And instead of sitting back looking at, let me lay myself down at this throne of mercy and fall down and beg for forgiveness and rend my heart and not my garments, you just want to continue to be justified in that he just going to overlook everything that you just did. You know what I'm saying? Instead of sitting back looking at, please don't kill me. Please put the sin away. Please don't kill me. And guess what? If he told you, I'm going to kill you, would you be mad? Who would you be mad at? You can't be mad at nobody but yourself. You did it. Nobody forced you to do it. You can't blame nobody for a single solitary decision you ever made in your life. You chose to make that decision, and you have to live with the consequence of that decision. If you didn't want to have that consequence from that action, then you should have made a better choice. But don't blame y'all. Don't blame people for your decision making. Now he talking about when you didn't know it was sin. Because Paul didn't know it was sin for what he was doing, which was persecuting the saints. He didn't know that was sin. When he found out about it, he felt pretty bad about himself. He didn't do it no more. Go ahead.
10.
Verse 10.
And it said, the commandment which was ordained to life I found to be unto death.
Because guess what? Ain't no death in y'all's laws and commandments. It's only death when you contrary to it. Go ahead.
For sin taking occasion by the commandment deceived me,
Yeah.
and by it slew me.
It what?
Slew me.
Go ahead.
Wherefore the law is Kadash and the commandments Kadash,
Yes, it
and
is.
just and good.
It's just and good.
Was then that which is good made death unto me?
God forbid.
But sin, that it might appear sin, working death in me by that which is good, that sin by the commandment might become exceedingly sinful.
Go ahead.
For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin.
Go ahead.
For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would,
He said that which I do, he what?
I allow not.
So you know what he looking at? He put a bushel over that candle then. He didn't allow it to illuminate itself. At the same token, Paul is also talking about how that candle is searching the belly and seeking, proving out what is actually inside of him. Do you know what I'm saying? See, people take this as Paul is saying that he's a sinner. That's not what he was saying. He was giving you an example of the fight that every man and woman will encounter as long as they in this flesh. Go ahead.
It says, which I do, I allow not. For that I would, that I do not. But what I hate, that I do. But that I hate, that do I. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good.
Every time you go contrary to the word, you show forth that the word is good and that is right. That's what people don't sit back and realize. And that means the judgment that is pronounced on whatever action that an individual partook in, you are saying that that judgment is correct to be rendered upon your head. If he say you ought to die for being an adulterer, then you commit adultery, you have proven that it's right. That's why if he tell you, I'm going to kill you for something, how could you be mad about it? Because your disobedience to the word, consequently, you have told him that your judgment is correct if you chose to render that upon my head at this particular moment in time. I don't think people consider that. What do they try to do? Justify themselves or find someone who will justify them. So it's a long word. It's not a $5 word. It's a long word in the English language that majority of the world's population despise it, and that is accountability. They don't like it. It don't even got to be with the word, just period. People don't like it. You know what I'm saying? They don't like it because it will force them to have to amend their actions and whatever it is that they're doing. Some people love accountability. That's why the book say rebuke a wise man and he'll love you. Some people like to be held accountable. The majority of the world's population does not. Clearly, the man who runs the United States of America don't do that. I just seen this grown man getting in arguments again on the internet. What type of 70-year-old man argue with people on the internet? Huh? Hey, same difference. Same difference. Say he went up. Yeah, no, I just seen he say he was going off on the mayor of San Juan, Puerto Rico, because she told him you need to send some more stuff down here. You know what I'm saying? He told her the Democrats are telling you to speak against Trump. You're an idiot. Y'all need to get up and do it yourself. We sent down there 10,000 federal workers and they're doing a great job and y'all not doing anything. Are you serious, dude? A whole island ain't got no power. You know what I'm saying? But guess what though? Even without he's been this douche for his whole 70 years, so this ain't nothing new. But you know, there's a nice pocket in the lake of fire for him. It was a nice pocket for him before he even became president. You know what I'm talking about? He just making it worse and worse. You know, I seen yesterday they said that Hugh Hefner's parents were Puritans. Do y'all know what a Puritan is? A Puritan is a Christian religious sect. They are probably one of the most strictest Christian sects there is, which is why they call themselves Puritans. They were based out of Pennsylvania. They broke off from, ironically, who the Quaker Oats Company is named after.
That's what I was gonna say.
You know what I'm saying? William Quaker. You know what I'm talking about? And they broke off for him because they thought that he was a little bit too loose. And he was actually just as strict, if not stricter than them. You know what I'm saying? And he was rebelling against the upbringing that he had because he was not taught to be a whore. He wanted to be a whore. And I'm going to be honest with you, and this is why I done told you this before, right? You know, and I done showed y'all this before. You could teach these kids correctly all they wanted, but you might end up with a set of Samuel's kids. Because Samuel kids rebelled. And Samuel was a righteous man. We all know this. He never went contrary. His sons were wicked. Huh? We knew Eli, because Eli knew what them niggas had going on, and he let it slide. Samuel wasn't letting nothing slide. It say Samuel's sons were taking bribes to judge. Nigga say, what? What you want me to do? Shoot, nigga, grease me up. Nigga grease his palms. That's what they say when somebody get bribed. Grease my palms. You know what I'm saying? A few shekels and a couple garrots, boy, I'll tell you whatever you want me to say. You know what I'm talking about? And that's what they did. Samuel never did that. Do you think he taught them that? Absolutely not. And I'm telling y'all this, I'm saying this to say this. Don't be upset with yourself or get mad or blame yourself if your children grow up to be wicked. They grew up to be wicked because that was a conscious decision and choice that they made to do for themselves. You know what I'm saying? You can't control that. You cannot control that. Come on, sir. Keep on going. Oh, I noticed you left Diamond and Tweedledee. What noticed that?
They made a conscious decision.
Well, they made a conscious decision to depart. I already know that. He definitely wasn't trying to hear that when he said he had to get rid of them uptimes. That nigga was not trying to get rid of them ones, boy. Get rid of them. You know, I'm old, man. He wasn't trying to get rid of them. You still want this woman? Nah, he said that young Summer's Eve made a conscious decision not to participate today. I said, yeah, I know full well he did. He didn't want to give up them ones. Yeah, who?
Yeah, he would have came if he wanted to came. He could have been like, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. If you wanted to come.
Yeah, I'm tending to the side on here. He made a conscious decision and choice.
He did make a conscious decision and choice. He didn't have to do nothing.
And that's an shoot, that nigga grown. According to America, that nigga grown. According to y'all, that nigga a vagabond. Yeah, a transit, if you will, a nomad. I mean, shoot. By definition, shoot. We vagabonds, nomads, transients, and pilgrims too. You ain't got no home to stay in. That just means when somebody say you're a vagabond, I mean you go from place to place. You ain't got nowhere to live. And we are vagabonds as a people because we have nowhere to live. See, and I looked at it earlier. I heard Terry Crews talking about something today. Terry Crews said something real. How insensitive would you have to be to look somebody in the face and tell them get over your pain and your suffering? I even seen homosexual Don Lemon say something real. That man say, how would you feel? He said, how do you think Jewish people would feel if they had to go to Hitler High School? You know what I'm saying? But we got to go to Andrew Jackson High School and Robert E. Lee High School. You know what I'm saying? It's not, but it is though. Hitler High. Got a picture of him in the hallway like this. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But that's how they do us, and they feel like, I told y'all, Cracker told me, y'all need to get over it and pull yourself up by your bootstrap. Well, Cracker, stop trying to take my boots off. You know what I'm saying? And maybe I can pull them up, because every time I try to put them on, you're trying to pull them off. You know what I'm saying? Shoot. Tell me get over it. Then this is a person talking about this is America, love it or leave it. Well, Cracker, you leave. This ain't your home. I am a stranger. Where can we go? They always tell us we can leave. Cracker, where we gonna go? You know what I'm saying? I go to Europe. Somebody else, they don't want me here. I go to Africa, they don't want me here. I go to Asia, they don't want me here. I go, I'm saying, where are we going to go? We don't have a land. You know why we don't have a land? Because you took it in 1945 and you gave it to some funny looking people. Because y'all are aware that before World War II, the Palestinians lived in that place. They wouldn't even think about it. It was under British control. Then during World War II, the British decided because of the quote-unquote Holocaust, I don't care who get mad, it's a bold-faced lie. It wasn't even 6 million of them on the earth at the time. They over-exaggerated them numbers. You know what I'm talking about? And then they took our land and they said, we'll give it to y'all. And then they came out and did a radio alert and said, I think it was May 1st, 1948, if I'm not mistaken, and said this is the fulfilling of Ezekiel 38 and 39 because the people are put back in the land and God has fulfilled his word. But man put them back in the land, not y'all. Man put them back there. The British put them back there. You know what I'm saying? And most of our people don't realize that because we don't really care about those type of matters. It doesn't really relate to us. And I can understand why it don't relate to us. You just trying to eat today. You worry about how your rent gonna get paid. You don't care about how some white folks got put in the land of Israel in 1948. You could care less. You know what I'm saying? You could care less about the Ottoman War and the Turk War. Nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? And that's the stuff that most Israelites be overlooking. Man, I'm starving, my nigga. Now, and it's the part two. I got to put this in here too before we keep going. So y'all can understand this and know this here first. Because niggas always talking about doing stuff in the community. And that's cool. But I want you to understand word-wise what that means. You feeding a poor person who is outside of the word means absolutely nothing to y'all. You did a good work and he'll acknowledge it, but it don't matter. When you read in Acts and you read in all these other locations, they were taking up collections for the poor of the Kadeshim, of the saints, and they were looking out for them first. You know what I'm saying? That's what they were doing. If they knew it was a brother who ain't had no clothes, then they went and they got that brother some clothes. If they knew it was a sister who didn't have no food, then they went and got that sister some food. You know what I'm saying? Like we could pull in Acts where it says that Paul was taking collections for the poor that were in Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? So this is for people who are of the faith. If you read 2 Corinthians chapter 8, he talking about giving to those who are of the faith. So that's why you see a lot of people, if you see people share stuff online about help this Israelite out and help this Israelite out, yeah, you supposed to go ahead and shoot them that. Now, at the same token, you ain't supposed to overlook somebody who on the corner who ain't in the word and he tell you, man, I'm hungry. Yeah, you supposed to feed them. But they always looked out for the Kadeshim first. You know what I'm saying? He always looked out for them first. That's who they were taking the collections up for. That's what they doing it for. And most instances, most congregations are small, so niggas know what niggas need. So all they got to do is hit a nigga up. Well, you got $20? Boy, I ain't got no food in the house. Yeah, boy, I got you. Then you got some congregations that are bigger of Israelites, and they take stuff up for that, and then they know, hey, boy, if anybody need this or need that, they know they can slide back there and get it. Like I say, like a group like IOG, they 5,000 strong in Chicago. You think they don't have that type of stuff for them people in there? Because everybody in the congregation ain't going to have money. That's the reality. Our law tells us that. The poor will always be amongst you. You know what I'm saying? That's always going to be. You know what I'm saying? There's a group I know in Atlanta, they do that. But you're supposed to take care of your household first. Y'all didn't go out there and take care of people outside of his house before he took care of his. He take care of people outside of his house, but he going to take care of those in his house first. Continue on, sir.
Oh, I thought you said it was done.
Because I'm going to tell you something, right? That's where it's going to come in at when he say you prophesied in my name and you did all these works in my name, and he going to tell you depart from him. That's why I would tell you, if you're going to do something for people, do something for people because it comes from the heart. It's the right thing to do. Not because you want to feel good or have somebody tell you how good of a person you are. Go ahead, sir.
We're at 17.
7 and 17.
Now then, it is no more that I do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. Mm-hmm. For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good I find not. Mm-hmm. For the good that I would, I do not.
Paul,
the evil.
Give me Jeremiah 4 and 20. He say the good that I do, I don't do it. You know why we don't do it? Because we don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times when you were finna do something, you knew it was wrong before you did it. You just did it because that's what you wanted to do. I don't know why people come up. It was a mistake is 7 times 7 is 49 and you accidentally wrote 47 because you thought you wrote a 9. You don't mistakenly have sex. 4 and 20. Yeah, you don't mistakenly tell a lie. You know what I'm saying? No, you can't mistake, because if you tell a lie, you had to think it out. Now, listen, they know sometimes if you can tell a lie quick on your toes, that means you possibly could be a pathological liar. You know what I'm saying? In the criminal lifestyle, you got to be a pathological liar because you got to be ready to lie at any time. You know what I'm saying? I could look the police dead in his eye, tell him a bold-faced lie, don't feel nothing bad about it. I could have got on the stand of my trial and looked at every juror in their eye and the judge and lied straight through my teeth, and they wouldn't even know the difference. I did not sell that man anything. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't appreciate the false accusation. I don't even know why I'm here. Straight him down, straight face, nothing. Heart won't accelerate or nothing because I'm a criminal. I'm supposed to lie. But now you're a Kadeshim, you're not supposed to lie. He say put lying away from you and tell the truth one to another. It's niggas in the world will still look you in your face and shoot you a bold-faced lie. You know what I'm saying? But Elohim say he is not a liar. You know what I'm talking about? If he says so, he not do it. That's why he say he hate liars. Because you completely contrary to him. Some of y'all know like this, but I'm gonna leave that alone because it was funny. Nigga just sit back and tell you straight them down. We were talking about this the other day. You gotta watch a nigga who lie about something to get out of trouble. So I'm gonna tell you something. A nigga lie to you because they scared. They fear you for whatever reason. That's why they lie to you. But you have to watch a nigga who lie about nothing. Stuff he ain't even got to lie about. That nigga got a problem. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about insignificant stuff. You know what I'm saying? Boy, you went to work today? No. Nigga don't even care if you went to work today. Talking about no, but you went. Well, I called you earlier, boy. What you were doing? You was asleep? Yeah, I was asleep. Nigga, you know you were around the corner playing basketball. All you had to do was say, no, I was playing ball, bro. I left my phone in the house. Niggas like that. Everybody know one nigga like that who lie about stuff for no reason. Just lie. You know what I'm saying? I had a homeboy just tell stories and know he be lying. Everybody know he lying. He just telling a bold-faced lie story. Like, why you sat here and told us that lie, bro? You look like you were one of them people. Just tell lies for no reason. That's rough right there.
That's a mental disorder.
Yeah, I mean, it's something about that ain't right. Nigga who just lie just to lie. Or tell stories, that's a bold-faced lie. Your life that boring, you felt like you need to make a story up. Just tell me about a movie or a book you read. At that point, because maybe you need to be a creative writer. You're sitting here telling me creative stories. Yeah, you gotta watch, cause somebody who, a liar is worse than a thief, because a liar is trying to steal your reality. You know what I'm saying? A thief is stealing your goods, and you can get them goods back, but a liar is trying to steal your reality. That's why people hate liars. You know what I'm saying? Because you trying to steal my reality from me. Let's say you messing with somebody or they your friend and they presented themselves to be like this, and then you find out they not. You just stole my reality from me. You just stole my reality from me. You know what I'm saying? You took away the conscious decision that I had to choose if I wanted to deal with you or not by presenting yourself to be something that you were not. You know what I'm saying? And now I can't get that reality back. And then when you pull the curtain back and just show me this was a stage performance, you're mad at me because I no longer want to keep buying tickets. You know what I'm saying? I'm real. I don't want to go to this show anymore. For real though, you done stole my reality from me. You know what I'm saying? And that's why people can forgive a thief quicker than they can forgive a liar. Oh, that nigga stole $100. That nigga alright. That nigga on rocks though. I just know not to put $100 on my dresser no more. You know what I'm saying? That too, but you know what I'm saying? But nigga lie to you. I can't get you. I don't know how to look at you after that. Go ahead, man. I'm gonna tell you, that done crazy, boy. Nigga lie about anything too.
It say destruction upon destruction is cried, for the whole land is spoiled. Mm-hmm. Suddenly are my tents spoiled and my curtains in a moment.
Yeah.
How long shall I see the standard and hear the sound of the trumpet? For my people is foolish. They have what? My people is foolish.
What else?
They have not known me.
They ain't know me.
They are Scottish children.
They Scottish. You know what a Scottish is, right? Stubborn. Go ahead.
And they have none understanding.
Mm-hmm.
They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge.
That's what Paul was saying in Romans 7. They know how to do evil real good. We got a lot of wisdom when it comes to that, but to do good, I don't know how to do that. CC, you talking crazy. You talking crazy. And that's why niggas don't like to be corrected. Because you got a lot of wisdom when it comes to doing evil. When it comes to doing good, you ain't got no, I don't know. Niggas think they doing good because they don't eat a pork chop. I promise that's all niggas think they do, because they show up on the Sabbath and don't eat pork. They think they good. I'm a good man. I lie and I fornicate and I steal. I got hate in my heart. I'm a good man though. There ain't no pork in my fork. I show up every Shabbat. I keep every feast. I'm a good man. I'm a good woman. I got a head wrap on. That's how they feel. This dude on my page, he go a little too hard with it. I hope all you niggas die. Death. And I'm like, boy, you sure better make sure your soul right, boy. Because you going too hard talking about how you want to stone somebody in 2017. You know what I'm saying? Boy, you better make sure you on point talking about stone. You ain't never heard me talking about I want to stone in there. I ain't going to try to stone nobody. I catch you on the last day if I be found worthy. I'm going to put a sword to you. And I ain't even thinking about putting a sword to nobody, Israelite or nothing. You know, whoever you have me put a sword to, you put a sword to. Say, I want you crackers in power. You know what I'm talking about? You Arabs in power. You people who've been purposely going about destroying the earth and deceiving people. Hey, I want to put my hands on you. Care about no regular average nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people like to say, I don't have a problem with white people in general. I despise the government and the police though. They can all eat a spoiled pickled egg, choke on it, and die. Do you know what I'm saying? Dead serious. Dead serious. Because these people make the policies of which show forth that they don't care nothing about us. And then a lot of their foot soldiers execute those said policies against us that don't care nothing about us. You know what I'm saying? Then on top of that, you hate my God. I'm not ashamed to say it. I've been saying it since I was 16 years old. You know what I'm saying? See, everybody don't know every little bit and piece of how I think because I don't have them conversations with everybody. Because niggas might think that nigga is utterly insane or something's wrong with him. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I don't care for the government for what? What does it represent? Even without the word, I don't care nothing about them. Before the word, if niggas was ready to crank something up, yeah, we gonna die. Yeah, we gonna get smashed. But shoot, you want to go up there in D.C. and lay something down? Shoot, I'm with it. Let go. Why not? What do we got to lose? It's got to be better than what we got going on right now. You know what I'm saying? That's how niggas felt when they were young. What do we have to lose? We ain't got nothing to lose. They kill him in the street. They lock me up. They won't give me a job. They won't do this. I'm talking about before you're a felon. Because let's just be honest with you. Most of them white folks don't want to get no nigga no job. You the last hired in the first fire. This is a reality. Your unemployment rate is higher than any group of people in the country. I don't care for police officers, period. I can take every person on an individual. My daddy was a police officer. I got an uncle who was a police officer. Do you think because you a police officer, I'm going to walk up and spit in your face and say, screw you, cracker, this, that, and the third? No. But once you disrespect me, though, all bets are off. Like I had a police officer call me boy. Hey, man, I was talking to him smooth till he called me a boy, cussed that cracker out. Because you better find you somebody to play with because I'm not the one. I got your boy, cracker. You left your boy at the house. Because this 20, whatever it was, probably about 2002, 2003. I ain't no boy. I'm a grown man. I'm from the South, cracker. I know what that means. You want to call me a nigga, just call me a nigga. I respect you more. I'm still going to cuss you out, but I respect you more. When I was young, I had a short fuse. So I cuss him out in a heartbeat. Police officer got mad with me a couple weeks ago because he going to pull me over, cut my headlight out. What's your current address? What you need to know my current address is for? What's your phone number? What you need my phone? What is that relevant for? Are you going to write a ticket for this tail light being out or what? Oh, that one there? Oh, boy. Boy, look at that crack to my, you ever been to jail for selling crack? Cracker, you already know that. You already ran my name before you walked up here. That's why you asked me that. No, he wanted to see if I was going to get scared thinking I got dope in the car. And I already, crack, I'm Ubering. So what you going to do? Because you holding me up and get my money right now. No, shoot, I flash, man. I'm Ubering right now, and you're holding me up. I'm on a trip. All right, you tell it. I don't care nothing about that. One thing's for certain and two things for sure. Telling the police how I feel is not a bothering for me. You know what I'm saying? It's really not. What are you going to do? You going to take me to jail? I'm not scared of that. You're going to let me out in the morning. I haven't been to jail in 14 years. So a little disorderly conduct ain't going to bother me in a little bit. But you're not going to disrespect me, though. That crack was hot, too. You need to change your address on your driver's license. I said, you going to give me $30 to do it? Because I ain't got it. Okay, that cracker was so mad when he walked back there and shot me that warning. You know what I'm saying? I know you got a problem with the police, but you could be a little bit more polite. Man, I don't want to hear all that, man. It was a Jack Beach police officer. That's what he said to me. I said, I ain't got no problem with police. I said, I got a problem with you because you stupid. You know what I'm saying? You bothering me. All right. if I was to go pull that Uber route up, that's the dude I told you when he said we just some good old boys. Good old boys carry guns too. Yeah, we were talking like this. Said, Cracker, man, we know what you pulling us over for. You see a white man in this black man's car, my tail light out, you know, rambling. I had a passenger in the car.
What review you left?
I had to pick him up before though. Shoot, the first time I picked him up, he tried to give me some weed. Tried to tip me with some weed. I said, no, man, you keep that. You got some money. I want some other green. I don't want that. I don't smoke that no more. That's it, man. I don't be caring nothing about that, man. Cause in the moment, I be pissed. You know what I'm saying? Cause you size me, bro. You see that I got out of prison in 2009. You see that the last charge I got is from 2002. Why are you bothering me with this? You know what I'm saying? Because the purpose is tail light out.
But they not talking to me about no tail. Me being in the street, I already know that tail light or headlight out gives them the reason to pull you over. They're not really pulling because they don't really care about your tail light being out, and they don't really care about your headlight being out. The only way they're gonna care about your headlight being out is both of them is out. You know what I'm saying? But as long as you got one, they know that you can navigate and see. They don't really care about that. It gives them a reason to see if you got a warrant or you got something in that car. You know what I'm saying? And when they when they walk up to my window, I already be like this here. Bomb, driver license out the window and registration in my lap. Like, what's happening? And that throw them off because they don't be ready for that. Nigga, I am legit. I don't care about nothing what you talking about. Go ahead and run that. I ain't got no warrants. Give me on my way. You either gonna write a ticket or you're not. That's how I feel about it. You either gonna write it or you're not. And if you're not gonna write it, then I don't want to hear all this extra stuff. Is this your current address on your driver's license? No. What is your current address? What does it matter to you? You need to change it. Are you gonna pay for it? Why your headlight out? Because I ain't got no money to pay for it. I don't know how to fix it. Well, then why are you driving then? Because I'm Ubering. You know what I'm saying? Like what you want me to do. No, I don't like the police. I don't like the police. I'm gonna be honest with you, and then we're gonna move on. My daddy was a police officer for 25 years. He didn't join the police because he just wanted to uphold the law. My daddy was on some old, I'm gonna stand up for black people type of time. Ain't no black people on the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, and I'm gonna do something to change that. And then he made many enemies during his time on the Sheriff's Office force because he fought for equal pay and rights for black officers, and there was plenty of people in this city that did not like him. And he always told me, man, don't come there, they scared of you just like you scared of them. And he used to tell me, man, they pricks, they douches, and you give them their respect, but at the end of the day, you a man, and you make them respect you as one. You know what I'm saying? I don't care because you got that badge on. You a man like I'm a man, and you will respect me as one because it ain't 1945, 1845, 1745. I do not see you. I don't care about that badge. I don't care about that pistol. You take that belt off, I will whoop you, and you can take me to jail. I don't see you. You know what I'm saying? And they feel like because they got that uniform on, that you supposed to, yes sir, massa, yes sir. Cracker, screw you and your whole family. And what? You know what I'm saying? But you treat me like a man, I'm going to treat you like a man because I'm a man. I'm not going to disrespect you because you're a police officer, because you're a man first. You know what I'm saying? But once you disrespect me or you disrespect my people, then we got a problem. I done had police officers disrespect black people in my presence, cussed him out, and then gave him a history of his people. Don't you dare talk about black people ever in your, don't you fix your mouth to do it. And that's how you're supposed to feel about your people. You're not supposed to let nobody disrespect your people. The same way, if you love a woman, you're not finna let no outside person disrespect your wife or say nothing about your wife. You're gonna get some straightening about that. You wouldn't care if you was on bad terms. You wouldn't care what was going on. Nigga, watch your mouth. And that's how you're supposed to feel about your people. That's how y'all felt about Yasharal. You think he let people sit around and bad talk you and talk bad about you? And we was on bad terms, wasn't it? He ain't let nobody come. He ain't gonna let Amalek and the Philistine come around here and disrespect his wife. I don't care if I put out my house or not, nigga. You better watch your mouth. I can call her a whore because she my whore. She ain't your whore. You better watch your mouth. Come on, man. I don't play them in the government, but at the same token, though, I'm in the word. So in the word, you giving people their respect. But I will go off on you. You think John the Baptist looked at Herod and said, "It's not lawful for you to have your brother's wife." He said, "Look here, nigga, you wicked. Ain't lawful for you to have it. You don't care nothing about it. I don't see you, nigga. I don't respect you. You wicked anyway." And I'm going to tell you about yourself.
Which says, how long shall I see the standard and hear the sound of the trumpet?
Oh, you good. You already read that. Come on back to Roman chapter 6. I'm just telling you now. I ain't telling you to go cut no people. I just don't. What I don't be liking is the police like to insult your intelligence. And they like to try you like you stupid. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody stupid over here, cuz. Nobody. But see, as women though, Nisha, you're not going to have the interaction with the police that we going to have. You're not going to have it. They don't care about y'all. You're not a threat to them. They're not going to disrespect you, size you, and try you like they try a black man. You'll never have the experiences with law enforcement that we have. It's not going to happen. And because of those interactions, I remember the police stopped my homeboy. He was working at Publix. They asked him why he had $400 in his pocket. They took the man whole check. Took all their money. And he had to, and we was teenagers. You're selling drugs. What? Took the man money. You know what I'm saying? And he was working at Publix. Go ahead. Romans 7 and what? 21? I gotta crank it up a notch.
It said, I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. For I delight in the law of Elohim after the inward
After
man.
the who?
The inward man.
After the who?
Inward man.
And that's what we need to be seeking. That's why he told you to commune with your own heart. Come on back to Proverbs. Well, let me wait for her to come back before I do that. Let's look at the instance of him testing the inward parts of the belly. Swing me to Matthew 26 and 39. See, when that word, matter of fact, before we get to the Matthew 26 and 39, give me John 6 and 63.
It says, it is the Ruach that quickeneth, the flesh profit nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are Ruach and they are life.
They are what?
They are Ruach and they are life.
And the flesh don't do what?
Profit nothing.
Go ahead.
But there are some of you that believe not. For Yahushua knew from the beginning who there was that believed not and who should betray him.
Now listen, right? He said the Ruach of man is the candle, right? In Proverbs 20 and 27. Well, let's look at that and get a little bit of understanding of what he refers to before we go any further to deal with that word that's on that on this wall at this present time. Give me Genesis chapter 2 and verse 7. I think we still need some stuff out of Exodus. When we look at that beaten work that we looked at in Exodus, that's tribulation. Remember, say that through much tribulation, you got to enter into the kingdom of Elohim. And then I'm going to hit another note. I'm going to wait for her to come back in here so she can hear that in its entirety. And that's also the chastisement, and that's that beaten work. And everybody that comes from out of that one piece has to experience that. And if you don't experience that, then he can't accept you. Give me Genesis 2 and 7. We'll deal with the candle, the Ruach of the man being the candle or the light that lights the house. And then we'll take it on from there. Go ahead, sir.
It says, and Yahuwah formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul.
Good. So that's the Ruach that's in a man. It's that breath of life, correct? Now let's go over here to Job 33. And let's look at verse 3. You kneeling for the anthem, sir? 33 and 3.
It says, my word shall be of uprightness of my heart, and my lips shall utter knowledge clearly.
Yes, sir.
The Ruach of Elohim have made me, and the breath of the Almighty have given me life.
Yes, sir.
If thou canst after me.
Now notice, right? So this is that Ruach that is in you, right? So let's go back to Exodus 25 and 37.
It said, and thou shalt make 7 lamps thereof, and they shall light the lamps thereof, that they might give light over against it. And the tongs thereof and the snuff dishes thereof shall be of pure gold. Of a talent of pure gold shall he make it with all these vessels, and look that thou make them after their pattern, which was shown to be in the mount.
So everything's of pure gold that he got to make it with all of these vessels. So let's do this here forward. Let me take a different direction. 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 19. That nigga is abusing you. He's slapping the fire from you. Second Timothy 2 and 19, because he said these vessels got to be made of pure gold. And after that, we'll just grab a little 1 Peter chapter 1 and then move on past that. 2 Timothy 2 and 19. Because all of these vessels have to be made from pure gold. Matter of fact, something else just came to my head. So we know that. Let me do it like this. He says it's a beaten work, right? So let's get Hebrews 12 and 5 and let's look at that beaten work. and that every vessel that come out of that candlestick has to be a beaten work, or it has to be hammered or broke out from that one piece. And then we'll go back to look at the Matthew 26 and 39 about how he was tested in the inward part to show what was in his heart. And then you'll go to seeing the beaten work. That's just something I mentioned when you was out the door. In Hebrews 12 and 5 first. We're gonna do that first. I think I gotta change how the order I'm gonna slot it. I think I had slotted a little bit. Hebrews 12 and 5 says this.
It says, and ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not the chastening of Yahuwah, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. For whom Yahuwah loveth, he chastens and scourges every son whom he receives. If ye endure chastening, Elohim dealeth with you as sons.
Yep.
For what son is he whom the Father chastens not?
Go ahead.
But if ye be without chastisement, whereof are all partakers, then ye are bastards and not sons. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection to the Father of Ruach and live?
Now, in Hebrews chapter 5, it says that Yahushua was heard and that he feared, right? Get that Hebrews 5 and 7. So they can see it themselves. Because when we look at that beaten word, Yahushua was beaten. And we know that Acts 14:22 say we must endure through much tribulation to enter into the kingdom of Shamahim. So we know that there has to be some manner of suffering or chastisement to become that beaten work. Because if we want to be a part of that candlestick, then we have to be beaten, correct? Or chastised. What does that chastisement do? It gets out the things out of you that need to be removed. The book said, Baruch is he that is chastened out of thy law. Then we got to look at, then he says it's got to be made of pure gold. Well, we already know what is going to make us pure. The fire. And then that fire will purge out the impurities, which goes back to what we were talking about in Psalms about communion on your own heart. But the only way that you can be able to do this is if you don't put the candle out. See, people go like to put that candle out. Put a bushel over it. Cover that word up. Go ahead.
It says, who in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and supplications with strong crying and tears, unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard of in him that feared, though he were a son, yet learned he obedience by the things he suffered.
Again, that's going back to what we were talking about with atonement. You supposed to have been learning obedience from the things that you suffer. You were suffering in the flesh so you could learn how to obey. So that you didn't have to, Day of Atonement is an example of you becoming that beaten work without actually being beaten. Nobody had to put a hand on you, did they? Nobody had to slap you. Nobody had to kick you. Nobody had to stone you. But you were learning to learn obedience from what you're suffering. Because that's why I say something to people about complaining about fasting. Oh, I'm so hungry. I'm so thirsty. Well, that's how you feel when you get faced in situations where sin is present. I'm so horny. I want to be drunk. I need to get high. And because you thinking about it and you thinking about how much you want to do it, guess what you end up doing you lend yourself over to doing so. Because all you thinking about is what your flesh desires and what it wants versus learning to be obedient by abstaining. That's how you learn to be obedient to Yahuwah, is to learn how to abstain. Because from the abstinence you will learn patience. And from the patience you'll get experience. And from the experience hope. And hope make not ashamed. That's what the book tell you. So abstinence will go along with, and we ain't talking about abstinence just from sexual behavior. Abstinence from all manner of unkadesh, unclean, and sinful behavior will allow you to actually learn how to be faithful to Elohim if you exercise it. You know what I'm saying? But nobody wants to put that into practice. Because to be abstinent from something, you have to have patience, because you have to learn how to deal with going without it. Then when you learn to go without it, especially if it's not something negative, then you learn to put your hope in Elohim. And then if you're hoping in Elohim, nobody who's ever trusted in Yahuwah has ever been ashamed. Ever. A lot of people talking about, oh, I've been ashamed because you didn't hope in Yahuwah. Nigga, look how you fell off. So clearly you didn't hope in him. Since I said it, go on and give him Romans 5:1, man. Story. Read it off the page. We threw in Hebrews anyway. Hello, Henry. Hey, Henry. That's your new phrase, huh? What's crazy is your sister used to do that. When did you learn that from her?
Therefore, being justified by faith, we have shalom with Elohim through our Master Yahushua HaMashiach.
Yes, sir.
By whom also we have access by faith into His grace wherein we stand, and rejoices in the hope of the esteem of Elohim. And not only so, but we esteem in tribulations also.
We esteem in what?
Tribulations also.
That's how you ain't become that beaten word.
Knowing that tribulation.
Now we gonna look and see that with Yahushua in a moment. Go ahead.
Knowing that tribulation work patience.
Work what?
Patience.
And what else is her?
And patience experience.
And what else?
And experience hope.
And what else?
And hope maketh not ashamed.
Why?
Because the love of Elohim is shed abroad in our hearts.
What shed it?
By the Ruach HaKodesh, which is given unto us.
So that's the candle, right? That's the light, right? He said tribulation allows you to have what? Patience. And patience allows you to have experience. And experience what did you think that experience is about? You get to experience Elohim in your patience. Let's look at how the master was tried in the inward parts of his belly. Matthew chapter 26 and 36.
It says, then cometh Yahushua with them unto the place called Gethsemane, and said unto the disciples, sit here while I go pray yonder. And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy.
Now he about to go through some tribulation. We talked about this last night. We read it last night, how he talked about how he knew he was going to be killed. So he already knew what was going to happen to him. Now that tribulation is upon him. That time of suffering is upon him. Now he's a little sad. Now we're going to actually get to see what's actually in his belly, because he's being tried right now. Now he has a decision to make. Will I stick fast to what I was told and allow that patience to be exercised, to turn to experience and hope, so my hope is not made ashamed? Or will I go against what Yah has promised me and seek out my own will to my own detriment? Because Yah is searching out his belly right now. He has to do to his son what he does to all of us. And see, that's the whole key thing. See, a lot of niggas don't realize they done got searched and your heart done got exposed, and then you mad because a nigga point out the fact that your heart has been exposed. And you exposed. Niggas be like this here, right? I always believed in what Pimp C said. He said, I ain't got exposed these faggot niggas. They exposing themselves every day. You know what I'm saying? For real though, you ain't got to. We gonna get the, remember we were having that conversation with that nigga. Nigga was telling them, bro, nigga didn't have to tell you nothing about nothing what and nigga did. Lil let a nigga expose himself, and then you come up, man, why you ain't tell me that? Why would I tell you that? I ain't got to tell you nothing. You know what I'm saying? The only time you tell somebody's son is if you know they fooling with a nigga, you pull them to the side, like you might want to watch that nigga. What you mean? Nigga sour. That's all I'm gonna tell you. You know what I'm saying? You do what you want to do. See, this is what niggas want you to do. Niggas want you to give them a whole essay, chapter rundown on the nigga like a woman. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just sit back, I ain't gonna say nothing. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't gonna expose a nigga. Expose a nigga for what? If you paying attention, nigga expose you the whole time he was around you. Nigga didn't have to tell me, oh, that nigga raw. Nigga, we're watching that nigga. That nigga raw. Do you know what I'm saying? We're watching this nigga. You paying. That's what people's bigger problem is. You don't pay attention to people. They tell you everything you want to know without uttering a word. You know what I'm saying? And then when you go to that nigga and be like, bro, this what type of nigga you with, bro? Because you did this and this and this and this and this, then they get mad at you. But nigga, you did the slime ball stuff, nigga. Nigga around here, you smoking crack, stealing out a nigga purse, and you mad with me because I don't want you in my house no more. You know what I'm saying? Or the thing that black people don't never love to talk about, you done molested my daughter and now you mad because we done ostracized you from the family. You can't do Jimmy like that. He's a good man. Clearly he's not. He just showed us that. You know what I'm saying? Nigga just showed us that. Nigga done cheated on his wife and now she this, that, and the third. How you blame your wife for you being an adulterer? Or like I said, you don't know nothing about that JT money. Nigga said you knew you was a hoe when you met her. You know what I'm talking about? Now you done laid with her and you wanted it forever. Now you mad because she done went and did what hoes do when you knew she was a hoe already. You know what I'm saying? You already knew that. You know what I'm saying? She had already showed you that. That's the biggest thing I'm going to tell y'all too. Most of y'all married anyway, so man, no different. Boy, if you see what type of nigga somebody is, man, you trying to change them is not going to change them if they don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Then you going to get mad at them because they the rotten nigga that they was when you met them. That's your fault for being dumb. You know what I'm saying? You could have took that nigga, shined him up real nice like, turned him sideways and threw him in the dumpster. Or threw her in the dumpster. You know what I'm saying? Made no difference. That's what a lot of people do though. You see a nigga sour, and then when a nigga do you dirty, you mad with them from doing you dirty. It's different if they covered it up and you didn't know they were sour. But most of the time, if you paying close attention and you're not blinded by googly eyes, you see what type of sour person somebody is. You just choose to ignore it. You know what I'm saying? We get around a lot of people that we deal with in the word over time. You see how sinful people are, and you just choose to ignore it. 9 times out of 10, you're ignoring it because you're just as sinful as they are. So in order to make you hold your own self accountable, and you don't have a desire to do that. Continue on, sir. What did he do? He trying to who? So you mad with him because he trying to push out a turd? He's sitting there looking like, why y'all doing me like that? I'm just taking a dump. Now somebody wipe my butt clean.
Wipe it out.
Not wipe me down.
Wipe it out.
Wipe me down. Come on, man. Where you at? Matthew 26 and 37.
Matthew
26 and 37.
Tear it with me.
Tear it with me for a moment.
He's saying, I am exceedingly sorrowful even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. And he went a little farther and fell on his face and prayed, saying, Oh my Father.
What he pray?
Oh my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. And he cometh unto the disciples and findeth them asleep, and said unto Peter, What could ye not watch with me for 1 hour?
That's good. Now right there. Then that instance with Yahusha praying, he's being tested, right? And he showed what was in his heart through the testing of it. He didn't put that bushel, he didn't put a bushel over that candle that was in his belly. He didn't put that fire out. You feel me? He continued on and did that. Now we know the tribulation, what he experienced, because what happened to him? He was spit upon, he was beaten, and then that allowed him to have that experience, which we just read in Hebrews 5, that through that suffering, he learned what? Obedience. Through what he suffered, he learned to obey. See, and that's the part of the game we be trying to buck, is the tribulation part of it, because that's when you get to learn your experience, and through that experience, that's where you learn to be patient, and then put your hope in Alim. That's why he say without faith it's impossible to please him. You can't please him without it. Let's look at something the Master said in Revelation 3. Give me verse 15. They ain't gonna kill me. Revelation 3 and 15. After Revelation 3 and 15, 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 5.
Oh no.
I was talking about that boy can go from happy to the cry face like that.
Hebrews 3, Revelation
3 and 15.
I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would that thou wert cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm, and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. Because thou sayest, thou art rich and have increased with goods, and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor, blind and naked. It says, I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire.
Gold tried in the what?
In the fire.
In the what?
In the fire.
Go ahead.
That thou mayest be rich, and white raiment. That thou mayest be clothed, and that thy shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see.
Now let's go to 1 Peter chapter 1. So he told you, you need to buy gold from him tried in the fire, so you could be rich. What do you think some of the riches of Elohim is? We done dealt with that before. Some of the riches of Elohim is knowledge, it's wisdom, it's understanding, it's the gift of prophecy, it's the gift of faith, it's the gift of discernment, it's the gift of tongues. You know what I'm saying? These are the riches of Elohim which cannot be quantified. This is why Peter told that dude, you and your money can perish together, because you thought the gift of Elohim could be purchased with money. The things that Elohim have to give cannot be quantified in the terms of monetary compensation. You can't even do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why people in the Sunday church think they can tithe their way to Elohim. You know what I'm saying? And then I don't know what Hebrews think they can do with their money, but clearly they think they can do something with it.
They can garment.
I guess they can garment their way to Elohim, I guess. Go ahead, sir.
It says, as many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous.
No. You're supposed to be in 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 5. You already read that.
Oh, I thought you wanted.
1 Peter chapter 1, verse 5. He already read Revelation.
He said that? You must have called it at the same time.
Called it right after that, 1 and 5. We're going to have to get him a teleprompter, ain't we? Huh?
Well, I need one. People need one more than I do. Sitting right here.
That nigga said, I'm sitting right here.
It said, who are kept by the power of Elohim through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time, wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations.
Was not Yahushua in heaviness because of manifold temptations? Remember what he said in Luke 22, you are those who were with me in my temptations. Even the stuff that we looked at last night with them hating him because of his fruits, he was in manifold temptations. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
That the trial of your faith being much more precious than of gold that perishes, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and esteem at the appearing of Yahushua Mashiach.
Read that verse for me. Sit down, sir.
It says, the trial of your faith being much more precious than of gold that
The trial of your faith is more precious than what?
Gold that
Is that not what we read in Hebrew in Romans? Go ahead.
though it be tried with fire,
Though it be tried with what?
might be found fire, might be found praise and honor and esteem at the appearing of Yahushua.
So that trying of your faith will show forth the praise and honor of Elohim at his coming. Let's look at something in Acts chapter 2 and verse 33. 2 and 33.
Therefore, being by the right hand of Elohim exalted, and having received of the Father the promise of the Ruach HaKodesh, he hath shared forth this, which ye now see and hear. For Daud is not ascended unto Shamayim, but he said himself, Yahuwah said unto my master, sit thou on thy right hand, until I make thy foes thy footstool. Therefore, let all the house of Yasharal know
Back me up to verse
surely.
30, because we came there for one particular thing that he said.
It says, therefore, being a prophet and knowing that Elohim has sworn with an oath to him that the fruit of his loins, according to the flesh, will he raise up the Mashiach to sit on the throne. Seeing this before spake of the resurrection of the Mashiach, that his soul was not left in hell, neither his flesh did see corrupt.
Now he's quoting what? Anybody know what place he's quoting? That is in Psalms. That's Psalm 16. He just didn't quote the whole thing. He said, I know my flesh rests in hope that you will not suffer your Kadesh one to see corruption. So what we're looking at is what he said, right? Tribulation work what? Patience. Patient work experience, and experience work hope, and hope make not ashamed. So when we look at a Mashiach, he had tribulation, which we read in Matthew 26, which ended up working patience because he waited on Yahuwah to suffer through that situation. He got the experience, and that experience was he learned obedience from the things that he suffered because his flesh rested in hope that he would resurrect from the dead. And this is what Yahuwah found when that candle, or that Ruach that is in him, that we read in Genesis 2 and Job 33, searched his heart and found out what manner of heart that he had. Because see, when that word come in, it searches out. We already read that before in Hebrews 4 and 12. He tell you that the word of Elohim is sharper than what? And it divides asunder to the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. So when that word comes, it's going to manifest what is actually in here. See, a nigga can talk, they can talk to their mouth catch fire. That's why a lot of niggas be like, oh, he always talk about going to hell, because it just showed the thoughts and intents of your heart. That's where you going. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you know what you are doing. Anybody who's striving for righteousness don't hear I'm going to hell. They hear the stuff about, well, Yahuwah show is merciful. I don't want nothing to do with his wrath, though. You know what I'm saying? I heard that stuff about New Jerusalem. That's where I'm trying to be at. Shoot. I sat back and looked at, I got an attitude problem. I might need to toss that away. You know what I'm saying? That's what you gonna hit, because anytime the word, like you said, right, the seed fall in a certain amount of ground, everybody's heart is different. So everybody's gonna take away something different from the word when it's manifested that's particular to them. You know what I'm saying? If you married, then probably having lust to have sex is not an issue for you because you're married, unless you have a lust to commit adultery. You know what I'm saying? Then you have an issue with that. You know what I'm saying? But then you could have an issue as a man on, hey, I'm not leading properly. Or you might have an issue as a woman on, I'm not subservient enough to my husband. I don't humble myself to him as I should. And that's the part of it you're going to hear. Or like when the book say to love your own children. I ain't saying nobody in here, but it's a lot of women don't know how to love their children properly. You know what I'm saying? Or where their children don't come first and they care for them and they concerned with them. So a lot of women don't know that. I need to love my husband and listen to him. It's a lot of men that don't realize, hey, I need to do this with my wife. I need to teach her this. I need to show her this. I need to be nurturing to her, or this, that. A lot of dudes don't know how to do that. That's something that you learn over time. You know what I'm saying? But you have to learn but you have to have a heart to want to do it. And that's what I was talking about last night, where we don't have no patience because we put people in the box and feel like they supposed to do this in the time period that I don't want them to do it. And then when they don't do it, and then I'm not happy, I bail out. You know what I'm saying? And that's a temporary emotion on being happy. If you're always looking to be happy all the time, then you'll probably be alone or in a miserable situation, because you're not going to be happy all the time. You know what I'm saying? The person you with is sometimes going to work your last nerve. So because they work your last nerve, God, she look at this nigga. Because they work your last nerve, you going to divorce them because you agitated at the moment? I knew that was going to happen. But that hit hard though. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? What I had it before that, right? We went 1 Peter chapter 1. What we seen swing to? Come on back to Proverbs chapter 20. I think I got the point that I wanted. 20 and 27. No, because let's look at it this way. If Yah bailed out because he wasn't happy with Yasharal, he would have made himself another people. Because that's the first thing people say, I'm not happy. Because we get in a situation where when you deal with somebody, you're not looking to serve them, and they're not looking to serve you. So because you're not looking to serve them, and they're not looking to serve you, then the only thing you're concerned with is your happiness. Not to say that you shouldn't be happy with the person that you're dealing with, but if it's 360 days in a year, you may not be happy for 125 of them sometimes. Not as happy like you miserable, just like niggas, I wish you would just go out, find a hobby. You know what I'm saying? Do hopscotch, jumping jacks or something. Shoot, it's going to be some days where you're not, that's because we ain't talking about walking around here sad and I'm just depressed, but it could be a good chance sometimes you're not happy with this individual in the moment. See, some people take a moment where they're not happy with somebody and over magnify it and make it a lot bigger than what it is, and then toss the person away. Because if you live with somebody day in and day out, I wouldn't care if it was your husband, your wife, your brother, your sister, your uncle, your mom. They're gonna piss you off sometimes. They're gonna work your last nerve. You know what I'm talking about? And you may not be happy with them for that moment. So because you're not happy with them for that moment, do you stop loving and dealing with them because you're not happy with them in that moment? You know what I'm saying? See, sometimes we look at not being happy with somebody as if they mistreating you, when really you just don't like certain things that they do. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. Your husband's going to get on your nerves. Your wife's going to get on your nerves. Your children get on your nerves. You got on your parents' nerves. Do you know what I'm saying? Who walks around and like the person, I'm just happy with them that's not reality. That's not real. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody walking around happy with somebody every day. Like, don't nobody work your last nerve. You might have had a bad day walking here. This nigga done urinated on the toilet seat. He didn't realize he urinated on the toilet seat. You hot though. You know what I'm talking about? Well, that's your fault for not looking before you sat that down. Okay, I understand all of that. But at the same token, before I take a dump, I look at the toilet seat before I sit upon it. I just don't come in there and just do and drop my butt on the seat. You know what I'm saying? Because some women just act like they didn't go in there and just sit down. Don't examine the seat or nothing. You don't do no public toilet seat like that. Yeah, but I live with somebody else, so I'm going to look, because sometimes niggas have accidents. I ain't finna be sitting in nigga bodily fluids. I'm finna check. You know what I'm talking about? No, I just ain't finna sit down. Oh, no, I'm not just sitting down. I'm not just sitting down. You just sit down on me.
Well,
She's about well when.
well, no. We all know that bathroom.
No, I'm talking about just sit down, meaning you don't look at nothing. Just
Oh, yeah.
You feel it.
It's on Z. No, it's on Z. Just sit down. Yeah, they just going.
woo, woo. I know
Got a
you.
little urine on your butt.
Little urine on your butt. I know you mad. I know like this. Cause I know you coming out that bathroom on a rampage. You nasty bastard, you. Why you ain't lift the seat up? Nigga, I sat in that. It's just a little pee.
Just a little water.
Just a little water. I was finna say something else, but it turned in here. You ain't never had no problem with that.
I see, that ain't right.
But it's the truth. Nigga sit all in that. I don't say a word.
I don't know.
But I'm just saying, because it's certain stuff where I done seen people say they left somebody, I just wasn't happy, he didn't clean the stove right. You left a nigga for that. You know what I'm saying? No, the woman left. Like, he don't clean up behind himself.
A lot of
Well, that means you
a lot of people
so
not
I get him some.
But guess what though? You knew that before you married the nigga though.
Let's clean the garage as well.
Yeah, shoot. Don't try to treat that man like I'll just clean it myself. You should have cleaned it yourself from the start then. Well, shoot, then don't ask me to clean it if you like this here. I ain't clean it how you wanted me to clean it. That's not how I do it. Well, shoot, nigga, you need to do it then. Tell me that's not how you do it. Shoot, then you clean it then. Well, that's different though. You trying to get it right. So that's different. Yeah, and then you gonna get mad at them because they ain't cleaning how you want it. You know what I'm saying? What's up with that? She do you like that? She do you like that?
I meet the standard.
He say he meet the standard. Shayla, he meet the standard.
I was the only child and a woman.
He say he meet the standard. He meet the standard.
I clean with the best.
Cleaning the house how you want it. That's what I'm just saying. He just said that.
I had to cook. I had to clean.
He said I meet the
That
standard.
toilet, that's y'all.
Yeah. Oh, I know who you talking about, but I just asked him, did he meet the standard? He said he meet the standard.
But she gonna learn eventually. My head.
They don't know how to do too much of nothing.
I mean, they probably don't know how to do it because nobody ever made them do it.
No. I don't know about washing your behind. That should be pretty much.
Now, washing your behind just come down to effort.
And that's piss poor effort.
That's very true. That's very true.
Now, I mean, you can say that, but I done seen some people that ain't the greatest cleaners in the world, but them niggas keep their body clean though. Some niggas just too lazy to take the time to clean the house.
No, I can say that. I know a nigga that be fresh to the teeth, filthy. Room be filthy.
I'm gonna talk about bathe themselves, rubber dub. But then at the same time, I know some people who house look clean body is disgusting. Nigga won't bathe to save their life.
Now that's more rare.
It is rare.
That's more
But
rare.
I done met a couple though.
I know a nigga who won't step out looking bad but home filthy. That's a lot of people. Cause you don't want a nigga to know you dirty, so you try to be clean. But you dirty.
I ain't gonna tell you no lie. I knew a chick, she ain't never cleaned her house. I said, boy, I know your vagina stink. Look at your house. And you talking about you want somebody to hang out in here. I don't want to even come in here. I'm scared I'm gonna get fleas.
No.
Ed. Oh yeah, Ed is a master cleaner. That nigga house is disgusting. He ain't like that no more. I know he ain't like that no more. He stayed with somebody else.
They ain't stressed out no more.
But they wasn't no excuse for no stress on that. That was just excuse. That was like an effort. A couple of us done been in there.
But nigga probably stressed out because his house is dirty. A dirty house is stressed out.
Yeah, but I mean at the same token though, it wasn't Ed's job to come home and clean the house. Yeah, I can't speak on that. That is good. But boy, a nigga done stepped in that house and be like, boy, you clean for a living? Like nigga don't want to sit on the couch.
With the kids and the wife and the house.
But that's because he had teenagers in there.
That ain't no excuse. That ain't no excuse. It's one thing, that house was past dirty. That house was like, nigga, I wouldn't eat out of here. I wouldn't bathe here. I'm not even confident if I would urinate here. And I'm talking about a man urination. I ain't talking about no woman urination. Let it go.
You knew you wasn't finna let it go.
Oh, he was gonna let it go. You gonna learn about stealing food, cause you ain't gonna steal my food. You alright, but you gonna learn he gonna steal my food. You probably more hurt he ain't got the cookie.
You know water away.
Ain't no credit. He was mad he didn't get that cookie. He thought I was gonna relent. See, you can steal from side him. He gonna steal from you. Come on, man. Proverbs 20 and 27. You definitely ain't finna steal from me. You ain't lying though. That nigga was holding on that thing. Oh, that boy had it like this here.
You could have just drug him out the door. He was just holding on to that.
He was gonna learn today. Steal my snack, nigga. Rob Sire. He robbed Sire them last night. She to my bye-bye. Maury, take my rice. You let him. You let him walk right over there to your plate and pilfer it. I know one person in here ain't gonna let nobody take their food. That one. Isaiah tried to grab a cup with no water in it and Lizzie was ready to bump. It wasn't even no fluid in the cup. That nigga said, mine. I said, golly, Lizzie ain't nothing in there. Yeah, Lizzie gonna bump by hers. Real talk, Lizzie gonna bump by hers. Whatever you think. Go ahead, man. 20 and 27. Lizzie gonna bump by her food.
It says, in the Ruach of man is the count of you who are searching the inward parts of the belly.
That's good. So when we look at this here, right? We got the noon, we got the yod, and we got the rosh here. So we have a water, we got the hand and the head. So, and that's the word nair, and that's for candle. So we say the ruach of a man is the candle of the belly or the light. So we're dealing with a light here. It's the same word for lamp in Exodus too. Same as that word. So what type of sentence you think we can pull for that if we have water, a hand, and a head? How would you phrase it before I tell you how I phrase it? We have the water, we got the hand, and we got the head. Because we know the water would be symbolic of what? The Ruach, right? And then also, if it's the Ruach, then how does one get the Ruach if we looking at this water then?
Go through the head.
The baptism, you're going to have that immersion. See, get him Acts chapter 19 and verse 1 to back that up with what we're talking about. Before you get Acts 19, give me John chapter 4 and verse 14 first. Hey, Gail.
It says, but whosoever drinketh the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up unto everlasting life.
So that's why we say a well of water springing up to what?
Everlasting life.
So that's where we can get that water and tie it to this Ruach there, correct? So now let's go to Acts 19 and tie it into this immersion when we're dealing with this lamp or this candle. And one.
It says, and it came to pass that while Apollo sat at Corinth, Paul, having passed through the upper coast, came to Ephesus, and finding a certain disciples, he said unto them, have ye received the Ruach HaKodesh since ye believe?
Have they received what?
The Ruach HaKodesh since ye believe.
And what else?
And they said unto him, we have not so much as heard whether there be any Ruach HaKodesh.
So they had never heard of it.
And he said unto them, unto what then were ye baptized? And they said, unto John's baptism.
Mm-hmm.
Then said Paul, John verily baptized with the baptism of repentance, saying unto the people that they should believe on him which should come after him, that is Yahushua HaMashiach. When they heard this, they were baptized in the name of the Master Yahushua. It says, and when Paul had laid his hands upon them, the Ruach HaKodesh came on them.
They came on them.
And they spake with tongues and prophesied.
So then we see the immersion, and then we see the Ruach being received by reason of this immersion, correct? But get me Matthew 3 and 11 real fast, because I had glanced over that, skipped over that. Now all this is coming in when he talking about cleansing out this temple as well, because the priests had put the lamps out. So you had the priests that were really putting out the spirits of the people. How were they putting out the spirits of the people? Because they weren't administering the word to the people. So this allowed the people to be walking around in darkness, like the master stated. Go ahead. Matthew 3:11.
It says, and I indeed baptize you with water unto repentance, but he that cometh after me is mightier than I, whose shoes I am not worthy to bear. He shall baptize you with the Ruach HaKodesh and with fire.
And with what?
And with fire.
And that goes back to that furnace of affliction or that purging. I see the dude talking about the baptism of fire is the lake of fire. I'm like, this man just told you he was going to take believers and baptize them with fire. And that's the lake of fire, bro? You that stupid? You know what I'm saying? But people really are that stupid. You know what I'm saying? Well, that nigga just tried to choke you, bro. So when we got the hand right here, what will we take with this hand? What will we relate to the hand? We're going to relate that to the master. We're going to relate that to that. So let's get John chapter 12. I want to say verse 33. Let me make sure. Actually, John 12 and 37. 33 a little too high. 33 ain't gonna hurt me. Go ahead. 33.
It says, this he says, signifying what death he should die. The people answered him, we have heard out of the law what the Mashiach, that the Mashiach abideth forever, and how thou says the Son of Man must be lifted up.
Mm-hmm.
Who is this Son of Man?
Who is this Son of Man?
And said unto them, yet a little while is the light with you. Walk while ye have light, lest darkness come upon you. For he that walketh in darkness knoweth not whither he goeth.
Mm-hmm.
While ye have light, believe in the light, that ye may be the children of light.
No.
These things spake Yahushua and departed, and did hide himself from them.
Go ahead.
But though he had done so many miracles before them, yet they believed not on him. Mm-hmm. That the saying of his eyes, that the prophet might be fulfilled, which he spoke, Master, who hath believed our report, and to whom have the arm of Yahuwah been revealed.
So we see that with this water, right, and with this immersion, that would state to us that the hand of Yahuwah has been revealed. So then that goes back to what we were talking about in Revelation 3, with your eyes being open. Your eyes are open at this point. Because who can we tie into this when we look at water and the Ruach and immersion and their eyes being opened? Because someone had that happen to them. Who do you know was made blind? Paul was made blind. And when did Paul's blindness be removed? When he got immersed. And then his eyes were open and he was able to see Yahushua, which will lead him to what? So when we get to the head, what are we going to get? You're going to get the Father. So when we turn around and we look at this, at the lamp, and it's sweeping through, that water and that Ruach and immersion will lead you to the hand who will open your eyes to get you here. And that goes back to what we were looking at beforehand on the tribulation versus the patience. The patience works the experience, and the experience works hope, and the hope don't make you ashamed, which is why he said he's searching the belly. Because he's got to try you to find out if you're worthy to enter into his kingdom. Take me to John 6 and 67, if you will, sir. That make any sense for you?
I don't know what that word is.
Oh, it's Nair. It's N-I-Y-R. And I already told him it means candle. It means lamp. I think they knew that. Did you hear me? Nisha said she knew that. She said you need to catch up.
No need to say it again.
She said you need to catch up. Get some hinds.
I'm good.
Get you some hinds, man. Nigga get a little bit of hair on his face. Nigga think you wrong.
I don't got no hair on my face.
Shoot, nigga, what you call it?
A little patchy beard. Little patchy.
Look what you mean, nigga. Your whole face covered. Ain't no skin on that.
John 6.
And 67.
It says, huh?
You cold? You look like it.
It says, then said Yahushua unto the 12, will ye also go away? Then Simon Peter answered unto
Make
him.
it 65.
It says, and he said, therefore, say I unto you that no man can come unto me except it were given unto him of my Father.
So the only way that you can come to this man is that when you talk about getting immersed, right? When we read about Lydia, it said that Yah opened her heart to do this. So the only way, when we turn around and look at even when we came out the land, it told you in Exodus 15, they got immersed first. Then he led them by his right hand so they could get to the land to get to him. When you look at that light, and that's what people end up doing, what we finna read in Thessalonians. They put this light out because they're trying to stop you from getting here. See, this is the process you got to go to get to here. And they're trying to stop you from getting there. Give me 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Look at this nigga here scrolling on Facebook. And I have your notification. Them niggas ain't want to talk to you. I don't get no notification from that. I'm glad to. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. I want you to pick it up at about verse 14. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Verse 14.
It says, now we exhort you, brother, warn them that are unruly, comfort.
He said, warn them that are what?
Unruly.
Now that's the thing that we're talking about. If somebody's unruly, what are they? They are sinner. And that's the part of the game. How many of y'all done experienced that somebody who unruly don't want to be warned? I ain't talking about warning forth as an organized setting as this. I'm talking about directly. Like, boy, you know you're going to go to hell for that. Well, you know you ain't got no business doing that. You noticed that when you was in school or you was in doing whatever you were doing, and you told them, girl, you know you're going to get AIDS. You keep sleeping with all them boys with no condom now. Because he preaching to him. Don't warn me. I'm unruly. Don't preach to me. Don't tell me to do right. Who do you think you are? Read that again. Read it again from the top.
It says, now we exhort you, brother, and warn them that are unruly.
So you can either warn, and guess what? And guess what? He say, comfort who?
The feeble-minded.
Pause. What y'all think that means? Somebody feeble-minded?
They're not willfully strong. They're not strong-willed.
I know in English terms, if you feeble-minded, it means you're stupid. You know, you kind of slow, you kind of dumb. Let's see what it is in Greek. I would not even dare to attempt to tell you what that is. It means somebody who's faint-hearted. Somebody who's weak. Romans 15:1. Get him Romans 15:1. And it's a tie into what Mashiach told Peter. When he told Peter, we'll read it off the page. 15:1.
It says, we then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak, and not to please ourselves.
Not to what?
Not to please ourselves.
Did not David bear the infirmities of the weak? He did it. Joseph did it. You know what I'm saying? Well, that meaning, and that's what I was going to before that. If you know somebody is weak, then you need to go. See, I'm gonna tell you something. At least where men is concerned, most men are not gonna show you that they in a weak spot. They're not gonna allow you to see that because you taught not to do that as a man. If you've been around any type of dudes, they're gonna tell you don't show weakness because if you show any type of weakness, niggas will prey on you. You know what I'm saying? And a woman will sit back and look. And it was funny because a dude on my page, he shared this here because he said he's always told that he's feminine. And he wanted to know what was he. I'm dead serious.
You said what?
He said he always told that he's feminine, that he does things that are feminine.
Who told you that?
I'm not gonna put that man out there like that.
Oh, somebody told you that?
Dead serious. He posted about it first, and then he called
about themselves.
About themselves.
Oh, okay, my bad.
And
I
called
thought somebody said that about you. My bad.
No, and then called. No, oh God, no. And then called, and he called me and asked me what are attributes of being effeminate, because he said he's always told that. Then he shared. Yeah. Then he said he shared a photograph where he was like, when you treat a woman like this and you work and you share with her your feelings, and then the picture says, I just want you to be my friend. And he was like, this is the story of my life. And a nigga told him that, and regardless of women like to say that or not, if a man is too emotional or reveals his emotions immediately, you will not view him as a suitable mate for you because you're going to view him as being weak. Do you know what I'm saying? You're going to view him as being weak. And you're going to be like, I'm not attracted to that. You will be my friend. I cannot mate with you because then we will have weak children. Because if you go back and you look into, the animal kingdom and all that stuff, they say the female animals always look for the strongest male to mate with. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's byproduct of, I want strong children. Who wants to marry a man? He's open with his feelings and he does this here. This old weak nigga here, get this nigga a tampon and a tissue. But am I lying though? I'm not lying though. I'm saying I'm not lying though, because in general, Because in general, most women are attracted to confidence. You know what I'm saying? What woman wants to be married to a man that's not confident? You don't want nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? That's not an attractive trait. And even though, what's the word I'm looking for? What is he doing? Maury got him pinned for the count. Somebody count 3. Call off the match. Oh, that's what it was. It was an attempt. I want to say, and self-depreciating humor, but in actuality, though, that was real for him because that is him. Because he posts certain stuff where nigga like, come on, bro, tighten up. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm never gonna be married and I'm gonna die alone. Nigga, every woman I talk to, she only wants to be my friend. And that's why people tell him, you're a female. See, it's one thing if you had that conversation with the people you around that you feeling like, hey man, it ain't looking good for me. But he posts about it though, a lot. You know what I'm saying? A lot. Oh man, I ain't never gonna have kids, but I don't think I want any anyway. Well, nigga, clearly you do, because you just before you said you didn't think you don't want any, then you said, you know what I'm saying? You're contradicting yourself. Look at that nigga face.
That's a mean face.
Ain't it though? I don't block anybody because I can just do this. See it no. You know what I'm saying? But I know the nigga though. You know what I'm saying? I can call the nigga, talk to him. I done talk to him. You know what I'm saying? Try to help him out.
Stroke hard.
You know what I'm saying? But the nigga try too hard. You know what I'm saying? You gotta try too hard, man. Then a lot of times he don't look at the chicks that you want to talk to when they shooting you down. They probably ain't the right chick for you, know what? You know what I'm saying? They probably ain't the best woman for you anyway. But yeah. Every women in here know that. If a nigga came to you, like just like I said, we got 3 women here. We got 4 women here. Let's ask them. Let's just do a little informal survey. If you met a man, Nisha, I'm talking about clearly you married, so that's neither here nor there. If you met a man and he went to opening himself up to you and being all emotional within 4 to 6 weeks, how would you view it? Not even that. That's not even emotional. Just because a nigga say he love you, I don't even view that as being, because I don't view love as an emotion. Just like opening up, sharing his feelings and his innermost thoughts with you.
He must really like me.
Huh?
He must really like me. He must really care.
No, but see, but
That's my point. I don't want to go good like that, though.
we're not talking about somebody who's trying to be your friend. We're talking about a man who you're interested in. He's interested in you. Y'all just started talking or dating, whatever the case may be, and he's pouring his whole heart to you within the first month and a half. Like, how would you view him? Would you sit back and look at him and say, you know what? I'm going to keep pushing this and see if I get married. See, or do you want to make him your friend?
Yeah, but do you want to be with him?
So basically,
I wouldn't drop him.
you ain't gonna come out that
I just think men are really emotional over me.
And assume, see, we talking about, see, you say you want to help him out because it's your nature, but we talking about you saying that I am talking and dating with the objective of being married. And this man is coming to you doing this off the rip. Would you look at him and say, I would marry this man?
How do you do that? I just think it's a little odd.
That's very. I'm gonna tell you on the flip side. As a man, I'm gonna tell you as a man, if I was to start talking to a girl and immediately she start pouring her whole heart out to me and all this, I'm gonna look at it weird. I ain't got to you yet.
No, I said
You've been playing hard for 6 months.
I'm saying, would you?
we're gonna be friends.
Yeah, that's my point. That's my.
As far as this week, ain't been on that many days.
But if I'm be calling you, no.
Yeah, we gonna call you at night, so we should
No,
go
I'm
find this.
sorry. I don't want my female friends like this, but okay.
Well, what about you, Lil Muffin? How would you feel?
No.
Lil Muffin say absolutely not, huh?
No.
What about you? I don't know what your name is. Just a girl with the thing on her head. It's too late. Her time period. Them days long.
You can't speak on the matter. God,
I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. I don't want to have that I don't want to even hear what my mama got to say about that. I don't want to know. So just let me stand in just let me imagine the stork drop me off,
it
nigga.
could have been applicable to other members of the
I'm just
party.
saying, let me just feel like somebody just dropped me off at the front door and she didn't do ungodly things to get me here.
That's true.
She said she don't want nobody to whine that much.
I'm used to it.
Go ahead, Lisa. How you feel about that?
I want a strong man.
I was like Strong's man. Carry me on his back. Back won't break. He got a backbone. But I'm dead serious though. If a nigga did that, how would you feel? Because I do know over time a woman feel like if a man won't open up to her, that she feel like he don't trust her. You know what I'm saying? Which I can give some credence to that notion. I will say that it's easier for a woman to open herself up than it is for a man because you're not taught to do that. Men are not taught to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Not that soon. If you're looking at
Not too soon.
Yeah, not too soon.
Wait till no. I don't want your feelings like that. And I'm looking at you crazy.
I know you don't.
Yeah, I'm looking at you crazy.
What about you, Callie?
We gotta be friends.
You see, that's the key point is not just assume, would you continue to pursue a relationship with him or would you make him your friend?
That's my best friend.
What about you, Lee? If a man opened himself up emotionally to you within 4 to 6 weeks of you dating him, would you continue to date him or would you make him your friend? Leave me knowing your personality and as hard as you is, you think you toss that nigga right in the dumpster. Right in the
I feel like for both parties, I feel like it's depending on how you already feel about it.
I don't know how you can feel about anybody that quickly though. I don't see how you could have a deep interconnection with anybody in 4 to 6
No,
months.
because as a man,
In a month?
I'm thinking like as a man, you might meet a woman that really makes you feel comfortable by opening yourself up, and you might not never felt that way before.
Like I don't even know you in 4 to 6 weeks.
You said what?
What you expressing?
Yeah, that too. It depends on what y'all express. If you being super much,
Not that in 4 to 6 weeks. Not that quick. Not that quick because I don't even really know you.
like you said, the type of conversation y'all really getting.
But I still don't know you though. I don't care how much we talked and this that you haven't even been in a situation for me to really see. I don't really know you.
Cause that'll scare me. Like I'm talking to a girl for like, you know what I'm saying, a month or two, and she come out like I've been molested and that.
Yeah, that's a lot to throw in my lap,
bro.
That's a lot to throw in my lap.
That'd be a lot. Especially she throw it at me at an awkward time.
I was just comfortable taking you out on the dinner. You telling me all this shit. I don't know if I want to participate in this.
Huh? It do. That's why I said if it's random. But
I mean, me asking you how many people you slept with and you being molested, touched, and everything that went on in your household. My mother was a crackhead. You know what I'm saying? All the time.
That's how she served it. Yeah, if we talking about it, but if you like serve me up random, I'm gonna feel like.
But I even still though, I don't even know you. Ease me into your deep personal secrets and emotional. Ease me on into that. You ain't ease me into that in no one.
One at a time. You can't just tell me everything at the whole time.
Exactly. Now that I don't care what we talking about. You can't throw 5, 6.
You just can't give me your.
Ain't no way we having a conversation talking about everything.
Or every time I might just want to talk to you about whatever. Just have a
topic conversation. And ain't no way we done jump. I
can't love you in 4 weeks.
Straight up.
Because I don't know you. I don't know you.
Even a year, I mean, you can look. You can.
Because like I said, when I say you love somebody, that means the first question I'm gonna ask you is, what do you love about them?
You're being.
I would think you do love them. I mean, you can thank you are, but.
I mean, if you love somebody, then it's aspects of their personality and character that you love. So if you say you love somebody, what is it that? Because I done got women like that. I love him. What you love about him? I love him. Get your stupid butt out my face. I love it. You don't even know what you love about him. Because if you say you love somebody, it's aspects of their character and personality that you love. You know what I'm saying? And the best way to even know if you love somebody, if sex is not on the table, because it's not going to cloud your judgment.
Look, she's the one, love. I love it.
No, because it's a lot of people who done had sex with somebody and confuse that lust and desire for sexual gratification as they love this person. You know what I'm saying? Because now you don't really, you just like what they doing to you.
I really love them now.
No, you don't love him after that. No, you don't. You don't love him after that. What it is you got emotional. You done let him inside your body. I love him.
Women get crazy at it, like most of the time. Women get like you can be chill.
Not all women, because some of these hoes is out here are sluts.
Nah, but that
Blue somewhere ain't nobody ever blew.
I think if a girl feeling you already, she feeling you. Like she feeling you.
Well, we already know that, and I know every woman in here can. Hold on, every woman in here. Check this out, right? Check this out, because every woman in here can bear witness to this, because I know this to be a fact. You already know within 10 to 15 minutes of meeting a nigga if you gonna give him some sex.
Absolutely.
You already know that. You already know that. It's just on how fast you gonna give it to him. You know what I'm talking about? Some women say I'm gonna give it to him tonight. Some women be like I'm gonna make him wait a year for it. You know what I'm talking about? But they already know if they gonna give you some.
I don't know. I ain't a woman to speak on that.
Man, sex complicated.
I don't know girls that got.
I mean, sex complicate a lot of stuff for a lot of people. Because it do for men too. I'm sitting here telling you, right? Because you sit there thinking like this here, right? If a man could, I'm gonna explain something to you, right? Y'all just hold it on so she can hear this here, right? This is how a man think. If a man really like a woman, then he don't want nobody else to have sex with her. If he feel like another person having sex with her, he gonna lose his mind. It's niggas who done killed theyself because they woman went and laid with another nigga. It's niggas who done killed theyself because they woman left them. You know what I'm talking about? And niggas get like that too. I love her, but she's a slut. I love her forever because she done did some freaky stuff that ain't nobody ever did to.
The difference is like with women, like say you sleep with a woman. For a woman, like okay, say a girl texts me your phone. Before that, I mean I didn't care. After you have sex, who was that texting? For men,
niggas do it too. If it was good, guess what? If she can juggle testicles and do something with your penis that no woman ever did before, who them niggas is like in your picture?
It might not even be all that, bro.
But some nigga I done seen that there, boy. This whole was raggedy.
Seem like you gotta be some circus act.
Who? Boy, I know some niggas that was messing with some raggedy, no good hoes. But them niggas would sit around and talk about the stuff that hoe was doing to them. Niggas ain't want nobody else to get none of that. Some of you niggas done seen niggas messing with like, bro, why you still fool with that hoe, bro? Bro, I love her, bro. She doing stuff ain't nobody ever did to him before. He like what she doing. Regardless if she's superbly skilled at it or not, ain't nobody else did it to him like that, and he don't want nobody else to have it. Which means, truthfully, you don't really care about that person. You're only there for the sexual gratification, and you know it. And you trying to give an excuse in your brain on, I love them, I like them. No, you like what they do in between your legs. That's what you like. You don't really like them because you have too many people that stay in bad relationships because they like the sex. And sex is only really 4% of the whole relationship.
Well, I mean, man, that's
you talking about the grand total of your life, but you are not spending the majority of your life having sex.
Man, there's some niggas out here.
I'm talking about you with somebody day in and day out.
There be niggas out here breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So.
All right, the longer you get, that's of your grand total of your life. You got 24 hours in the day. You is not having no sex. Okay, and guess what? It probably took 1 or 2 hours to make it, and you ain't having sex 3-4 times a day. It's 24 hours in a day. You is not having sex 6, 7, 8 hours a day every day. You know what I'm talking about? So when you spread that out,
I give it a good 10.
When you spread that out over a grand total of a whole year, well, that's just a small percentage of what you got going on. And if your relationship is built on sex, which most people got, you ain't really built on nothing. And black people, and guess what? And you proving at one point that I heard Farrakhan say a long time ago, black people are the only people that pick they mate from the waist down. And that's the dumbest reason in the world to be with anybody.
I ain't got no. get on your wood.
Black people, but guess what? A black man or a black woman, they can see that they got something from here up.
I don't got no wood.
And nigga be like, but well, I heard he can't do it right. I heard her stuff loose. Nigga don't want nothing to do
Oh,
with
you
it.
saying for men, women too?
Men and women.
Yeah.
Men and
Talking about
women.
no
Black
booty.
people pick they mates. Most races.
What you can see.
Most races pick they mates from here up. What they got in here. Black people go from here to what can they do in this bedroom? And that's what I'm telling you, in the grand total of your relationship, that is a small percentage of it. If you ain't got nothing to do but get freaky, what you niggas gonna talk about? What are you gonna build for the legacy for your family?
I
Sex?
know girls who really like you and be like, I played it one time, but it's bad or it's not up to that standard. I ain't calling you. And you really like me.
Yeah,
It ain't popping.
I don't like it.
It ain't popping.
I ain't talking to him no more. And guess what they end up? And how many women you done seen messing with a nigga who was no good, sorry, beat him, whatever, but he can go though, girl. Shoot.
Yeah, do though.
Yeah, dude, because I done had women tell me that's why they stayed. But I done heard women tell me that's why they put up with what they was putting up with, because he was laying it down and they couldn't let it go.
That's how these hoes always, baby daddy ain't never going nowhere.
Or they steady let a nigga cheat on them.
Always.
Long as they keep getting some.
Yeah.
Yeah, niggas stay for sex. People doing it every
Yeah,
day.
put it down, girl.
It's a lot of people stay with people for sex. I don't even put it on black people. People, period, will stick around with a nigga because they like what they doing to him in between their legs. He ain't got nothing else to offer them. How you think some of these no good niggas got a roof over their head? And some niggas supposed to be homeless right now. The only reason they got somewhere to stay because they know how to have sex. That's the only reason why these niggas got somewhere to stay. It's a lot of niggas out here that should be at the Salzbacher right now.
But say, hey.
Them niggas know how to blow in the butt, blow in the vagina, and swing that back, and they got somewhere to stay.
Shoot, I feel like there's more women doing that than men.
Well, guess what though? I mean, but get what?
Way
though?
more women
But
doing
get
that
what?
than men, bro.
But as far as it's a woman though, that's the guaranteed thing. They say the least you can do is toot your butt in there, cook a dinner, and clean the house. You know what I'm talking about? As a man, how you the only reason you got somewhere to live? You ain't offering this woman nothing. She taking care of you, but you know how to freak her though, and she let you stay in her house and sleep and drive her car to another whole house, and she know you doing it, and she don't say nothing because she like what you doing in between her legs, and she put up with it.
That's the. Yeah.
But you know a nigga expect that.
There's a lot more women
Well, you know that's what I
laying
can
up with a nigga, taking his car, playing both sides. Way more women doing that,
I
bitch.
ain't saying who's doing it more.
You don't think so?
No, look here. I didn't say who did it more at all.
I ain't been here that long, but
Check this out. Check this
what I
out.
done seen.
I didn't say it was more men doing it than women.
Oh, mom said it is.
I ain't saying it was more anybody doing nothing. I say it's niggas out here that should be homeless.
Yeah.
Because that's all they got to offer.
But I seen women. I know women. Yes.
I know women who do that.
I know somebody.
I know plenty of women that do that, and that's all they got to offer is some butt, and they know how to lay it down. And that nigga gonna take care of her. It's plenty of niggas who are vagina whoop, who keep an old no good foot dragging $2 slut in their house because she know how to juggle some balls and toot that booty in there. Straight up and down. And they buy her clothes, they buy her shoes. Look at all these old raggedy no good hoes got this. This hoe ain't got no job. How she got an iPhone? How she got an MK purse? How this hoe stay fly? How this hoe got Brazilian Remy in her head?
Heck yeah. Play by play, girls do it way more.
Because the reason being because
They get every little thing.
it's standard practice that a man take care of a woman anyway. So a lot of women know this. So she feel like as long as I put it on him, he gonna do whatever. I know women that go for the fact that they think if they get freaky enough with a dude, he'll buy her whatever. I've seen it. I've seen niggas buy women stuff just for the hope of having sex with her.
That's playbook. That's classic
Oh, yeah, I
playbook.
know.
Yeah, that's classic playbook. Niggas ain't just going off the top rope. You gotta find a real available chick to be able to.
Oh yeah,
When they go off the package.
yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta find a woman she lonely.
She's gonna get you everything, the car, the clothes.
Hey, all you got to be that nigga.
I'm just trying to tell you, man. It ain't nobody what you think. Sex has a strong. Guess what? Sex is gonna be the biggest reason why most people go to hell. That's why it's got the strongest pull. That's why I'm telling you. Black people will pick their mate waist down. You don't see too many black people ask about the intelligence level, the building skill level, or a man or a woman. They ask their friend how she was, bro. She could get it in. how good he was, girl. That's the first thing niggas ask. You know what I'm saying? He can have sex, he can't build you nothing though. So your children will be perpetual slaves.
Next day I see the same thing. I'm like, you said that was home and
You know what I'm saying? I'm just sitting there telling you though. You have very few women that actually walk around and look for their mate and they concerned about what he got in here and what he can do for multiple generations after them. All they worried about is what can he do to my vagina? And that's what I'm telling you. If you really a man and you really a woman and you really set out to do something, then you'll see that sex is a very small part of what you got going on. You not spending the majority of your life having sex. You know what I'm saying? Even before you were married and you was in the world, you wasn't spending all that time over there. What I'm talking about? Now we talking about what that. See, old people was on the bench till the white folks started making Viagra for them, and all they started having all these old white boys and old white black men in the hospital. You would think some niggas be retired at 70, but shoot, boy, they be still be going.
They be saying you ain't. They say the women go way before the man go.
Yeah, they do. They say the women stop before the man do. But I just
y'all be done. Man still be tried and true.
Not have married and had children at 77 years old.
You say that's nasty till you say it, then your husband says that you like to see a shoot. Women still work.
They go out still shoot.
Nigga say the plumber. That nigga say that till they 70 and 70 with their husband. They be like, well shoot, baby, come on, Earl. My plumbing still work. What you gonna do? It is a disgusting thought to have in your head, but they do it though. They do it.
I mean, back in the day, they was already old, but they was retiring.
Niggas still going, but I think it's only because of the Viagra and the Cialis. I can't speak for the women.
I said white people, boy,
Boy, I ain't gonna tell you no lie, boy. I've been in these streets, old niggas trying to cop Viagra, nigga, all on the block.
I don't know, boy.
I done seen it.
Niggas from the north side, son.
I done seen it.
Them niggas out. Huh? They need it? Oh yeah. Who what?
Well, I'm talking about old niggas.
Oh yeah. I get what he's saying. He think it's more Caucasians that are in need of assistance.
Well, the assistance ain't nothing that the blood ain't flowing down there no more. But I'm telling you, I done seen 60, 70-year-old niggas looking for Viagra on the street.
Yeah, I ain't saying they don't.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, let me cop that.
But some of them be trying to keep the stamina. It be more for stamina.
But Viagra is not for stamina. Cialis is not for stamina. It's for erectile dysfunction, meaning your penis does not get erect. It won't do nothing for your stamina.
I mean, once you get it going, you never.
All that is enough blood is not flowing to your penis, so you can't have sex, and that's what it's for. Yeah, that's a heart pill.
That mess up your flow. So do. She right, man.
Then that's why niggas buy it more.
You ain't right. Circulation on
Circulation. I done read an article where it say that if a man don't wake up, they say if you don't wake up in the morning as a man with an erection, that you need to go see your doctor because you possibly might have a plumbing problem.
If you don't wake up
on a consistent basis.
So y'all need to everybody got to wake up in the morning wood, huh?
Because they saying that if you don't, they saying that if it doesn't happen consistently, that you might have heart issues. Your blood ain't flowing. I'm serious. I mean, listen, some dudes buy Viagra and they don't need it.
But you know they got the stuff at the corner store now.
Some people just buy stuff because they're freaky. But what I'm saying is, I was reading an actual medical article that stated that if you do not consistently, as a man, wake up with an erection upon rising, that you might want to see your doctor because you might have blood flow issues, and it could be pointing to something else. Because now the reason why they say that, because they say that is an indicator that you might have a blockage in your artery.
You gotta start keeping the chart.
You know what I'm saying? Or you might have an issue with having a stroke because that's related to blood flow.
Beautiful morning it is.
It's not anything about being sexually aroused, it's about blood flow. So if that's not happening consistently, then they saying you need to get checked to make sure you don't have any blockages in your heart.
They're talking about as far as the blood flow, take us out the most.
Because we have the least longest life expectancy.
Yeah.
Especially black men, you know what I'm saying? And that's because we have an adverse relationship with hospital and doctors. We won't go. You know what I'm saying? So they won't go. So that's why they say that stuff with prostate cancer. But see, it's a little different with black men because black men ain't with nobody putting their finger in their butt. Because that's the only way they can check your prostate. But that's why you got more black people dying from prostate cancer because niggas utterly refuse to let a man stick a finger in their butt. You know what I'm saying?
About time for you to get checked, huh?
Got me bent. About time for you to get
40,
checked. I ain't 40 though.
Tell me how that go for you, because I got time.
You know how that go for me? You know how that go for me?
I got time.
I'ma pass.
You gonna pass, bro?
I will pass.
See, look, after all that talking.
Okay, guess what? Guess what, right? I have no problem with any medical procedure but that one.
Now you can do it with blood tests though.
Yeah, that's the way they gonna do it. Because I will not be violated.
I will not be violated.
Straight up. Because after that, I don't know how to feel about myself. Am I gay? Am I straight? What am I now? I don't know.
You healed. You healed. That's what you is. You healed.
I just don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what to think anymore. I'm just sitting here wondering like this here. Am I bisexual?
Was it worth it?
Was it worth it?
That's the main question. Was it worth it?
Because I'm going to tell you something, then we're going to finish up. When you're having a large prostate, usually it makes you urinate more. You know what I'm saying? Like if you ever seen the commercial, you get up. Like if you see somebody as a man, if you got to get up multiple times during the night to use the bathroom, to urinate, you probably having a large prostate. You know what I'm saying? Because unless you drunk a whole gallon of water, a whole bunch of water before you lay down and go to sleep, you ain't got no business getting up more than twice to use the bathroom during the 8-hour period of sleep as a man. And 2 times is pushing.
2 times is pushing.
I mean, but that's relative to how much fluids you took in.
That's relative to how much sleep you getting. You ain't getting sleep for 6 hours. You done got up twice. You might well took a nap.
Because I can tell you, like when I was on diuretics or water pills, they would always say, don't take these pills before you go to sleep. Because if you take them before you go to sleep, you're going to get up all night urinating. Because when I was on them in the daytime, the CO used to think, like, you always got to pee, you always got to pee. I'm like, nigga, I'm on water pills, bro. You know what I'm saying? They'll make you urinate. At the same time, they'll have you ripped like nobody's business. And I need to buy me some more. 1 Thessalonians 5:14. I definitely. I'm telling you, water pills will get you lean. You want to help get a little bit of body fat off you? Get you some water pills. Cop your own, nigga. Shoot.
You the one said you got the plug on it.
I ain't say I had no plug with nothing. Don't put words in my mouth, sir.
What they at?
I don't know. You know where they at? Shoot. Health food store, I suppose.
Where you cop yours?
I caught mine from the Florida Department of Corrections, and I ain't took none since I ran out. No, 1 Corinthians 5. Well, we was already at. Oh, he read that Romans 15:1 already. So you know you're supposed to support those that are weak. We have read 1 Corinthians 15:4. 1 Thessalonians 5:14.
It says, now we exhort you, brethren, warn them that are unruly, comfort the feeble-minded, support the weak, and be patient towards all men.
Yes, sir.
It says, see that none render evil for evil unto any man.
Pause. This is the thing that y'all need to sit back and look at, right? Just because somebody do evil to you does not mean you need to render it back. Because he told you in the law, vengeance is mine, saith you, who I shall repay. This is what he mean when he say, hey, if somebody despitefully use you, pray for him.
Stop, Mar.
That's why you say you want to destroy evil with good. Because regardless of what, it's some people that are never going to do right by you. They're never going to do good to you. And it's your duty as a servant of Elohim to not return evil back to them no matter how much you want to. That's what we were talking about the other day. It's certain situations that niggas done did certain stuff where you want to walk by, put some powder in your hand, slap them upside their head. You know what I'm saying? But you can't do that though. Go ahead. Haley.
It says, see that none render evil for evil to any man, but ever follow that which is good, both among yourselves and to all men.
See what he said? Always follow that which is good.
Rejoice evermore.
Rejoice evermore.
Pray without ceasing.
Pray without ceasing.
And everything give thanks, for this is the will of Elohim in Yahushua Mashiach.
And listen what he say. Don't do what?
Quench the Ruach.
Quench not.
Quench not the Ruach.
And what we were looking at, what they were doing in with the temple, what did they do? They put out the lamps, right? So therefore, what were they doing? They were quenching the Ruach. No matter what you do, don't quench that candle that's inside of you. Don't put a bushel over that light. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to put that man word out your heart. Give me Romans 1:28 and we'll see what you doing, Tiz. It
said, even as they did not like to retain Elohim in their knowledge, Elohim gave them over to a reprobate mind to do
because they didn't like to retain who?
Elohim in their
so
knowledge.
If you don't like to retain him in your knowledge, then guess what you would be doing? No.
Give you over to a reprobate mind.
You will be quenching the Ruach, and when you quench the Ruach, he gonna give you over. Let's look at what that reprobate mind is. No, nothing is yours because you paid for nothing. No, not yours. Your skin is not yours. Your head is not yours. Go to your mother. Hello. Go ahead. So
it says, give them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient, being filled with unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, and whisperers, backbiters, haters of Elohim, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things.
This is what happens when you quench the Ruach. All of these things become manifest because you would have quenched those fruits that the people found contemptible that we read about last night.
Disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, and unmerciful.
Yep.
Who, knowing the judgment of Elohim that they commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them.
That's good. Go back to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and read verse 19 again.
It says, quench not the Ruach.
Quench not the Ruach. So whatever you do, that candle that's in a man, don't put it out. And why do we see how we put it out? By not retaining that knowledge in our minds. That's how we put it out. And like we read, that's going to lead you to being lascivious. That's going to lead you to be covetous. That's going to lead you to be commit fornication, adultery, be malicious, backbite, whisper, slander. That's what's going to lead to all of that because you put that light out. Because you want to put a bushel on it. Because you didn't want those works to shine before men, because you were more concerned about yourself and what you wanted to do than to esteem your Elohim that sits in Shamahim. Continue on, sir.
It says, despise not prophesying.
Now, I was going to get into it, but look what it said, despise not prophesying. How many times can we read in this book where these people despise the prophecies that the prophets gave? In 2 Chronicles chapter 20, he said, believe Yah and believe his prophets and you'll be established. But every time the prophets came, they hated what they had to say, which goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Goes back to what we were showing last night. Because prophesying is a part of the faith or a part of the love of Elohim, and people despise that. When the master came and told them Jerusalem would be destroyed, then people despised that. When he sat back and he gave that parable of the fig tree being destroyed, they despised that. When he gave them the parable about them killing the husbandman and taking his vineyard, they despised that. Because they never wanted to hear the truth. And that goes back also to what we referenced in Isaiah 30. Don't prophesy unto us right things, tell us lies. This people like to be lied to. Whatever nigga talking about. Nigga like somebody to make them feel comfortable. No, most people do not like to be challenged to be greater. Which goes back to the conversation what we were talking about black people picking their mate from the waist down versus the neck up. Because the nigga from the waist down is not going to challenge you to do anything or be anything. Somebody from the neck up is going to push you to be a better man or a better woman, but you don't want that. Mind, the mind, the intelligence, the capacity, the mental capacity that this man or woman possesses. We've all seen this here, right? Most women are attracted to a man of some level of intelligence. But most men, unfortunately, are intimidated by a woman of some level of intelligence. Reason being, because they will have to elevate their intelligence to be able to meet this woman. They don't realize that woman who has a good level of intelligence really wants to help this man and elevate him to be at her or greater than her, because she understands this is where he's supposed to be at. Because these niggas are weak and cowardly, they will run from her. You know what I'm saying? They will run from her. I don't want that, because I'm not smart as her. You are smart as she is, you just don't apply to yourself. She does. That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? Most times if a woman has low self-esteem and she sees a man of higher intelligence and he's interested in her, then she feels like she's not worthy to be with him, and why would he want to talk to me? So I've seen women who had low self-esteem and a dude treated them good and they thought he was a sucker, they thought he was a buster, because they didn't feel like they were worthy to be treated that way, and they thought he was lame because he was doing that, because they didn't love themselves. You know what I'm saying? So they was like, why would you love me? Why would you? He talking about he loved me, girl. That nigga lame. And you'll look at him like, nigga, what's wrong with you? You ain't gonna find another nigga like that. Have you looked at yourself lately? I ain't talking about physical appearance, like who you are. Like, you look at yourself lately? Come on. Give him 21. And we'll end at verse 20. No, we'll end at verse 24.
It said, prove all things and hold fast that which is good.
Prove all what?
Prove all things and hold fast which is good.
Go ahead.
Abstain from all appearance of evil.
Hey, Leisha, that's what I was talking about when I was telling you the other day about what you were asking about. That's what abstaining from all appearance of evil. Just because in your conscience you not doing wrong, you feeling, well, why I gotta be judged off of what another nigga think? But you don't want your good works to be evil spoken of. Because you got to realize, if people sitting around waiting to say, I knew you was wicked. That's what y'all believe. That's what y'all get to do. So you have to separate. Like, I can't be sitting in a nigga trap. I could be sitting in a nigga trap ministering the word to him. But if a nigga walk in there and see me sitting in that trap, they ain't thinking about it. That nigga ain't never preaching no word. That nigga selling drugs and smoking weed. But I wasn't doing no evil, but it looks evil because I'm sitting in this drug house. You know what I'm saying? So you have to abstain from that. You can't participate in that because you don't want your good works to be evil spoken of, because you realizing it's not about you, it's about Yahuwah. It's about protecting his name and protecting his honor and his esteem. And if you have to lose something to protect that, then you will be learning what a Mashiach learned when he learned obedience from the things that he suffered. Go ahead. Well, I got you. Verse 23. And the very Elohim of Shalom sanctify you wholly. And I pray, Elohim, for your whole Ruach and soul and body be preserved blameless unto the coming of our Master, Yahushua HaMashiach. Faithful is he that called you, who also will do it. Because that's how he's showing you that you won't be ashamed. But hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. We'll stop it right there.